Hi, everybody. Welcome to FNS Wrestling Podcast, episode 182. As my son and co-host struggles to take his headphones off, we have made it back down to the basement. We're going to talk about a week of wrestling after we banter for a little bit. There's always timestamps if you want to skip our banter or skip to any parts of the show that you enjoy, because as you know, unless you're new, you're going to get some AEW Dynamite talk. Quite a bit of that usually. Some NXT. I even threw in the random matches we watched, a couple last night and whatever, so we'll talk about those as well, some trivia and whatever else we do, and news and things. But we got a snowstorm last night where we live in Southern Ontario, and I was driving in the middle of it, so I was
walking.
Yeah, oh, you're right, you were out walking in it, because ironically, we lost power for 4 hours. The ironic part is that it wasn't because of the snowstorm, right? It happened well before. So we lost power at like probably around 4:30, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and then came on like an hour after it was projected to.
It came on like after 8 o'clock, closer to 8:30, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I took your brother down to a pickup basketball run in which I ended up having to play. So at my age, playing almost 2 hours with teenagers of like 13 to 17 years old, I'm pretty sore today. Full court basketball, but yeah, with the drive home, I think it took us just under an hour to drive what normally takes 25 minutes. And we saw one of the go buses was stuck. There were people in the ditch in the middle of the highway that we live off of, and people even on the road getting us to the highway where we were. There were accidents everywhere. So
yeah, I was completely like front covered with snow.
You walked home. Yeah, because you were so bored from the lack of power that you walked to where you work, because when I went to pick up dinner, we noticed that the grocery store you work on had power. So you walked there just to be like, and I'm sure you can talk to people you know, but just to be in light and whatever. And yeah, so we passed you on your walk home. And that was the thing. When we got to your brother's basketball, there was no snow whatsoever. It was totally fine. And then a dad came in after being gone for like 20 minutes, just covered in snow. So
that was me.
It had started. Yeah, it accumulated really fast. Yeah. Yet somehow I didn't have a ton to shovel this morning. Like I texted your mother to be like, did you already shovel? Because there's not. So I don't know if it just melted or all blew off. You know what I mean? If it was windy.
Yeah.
Because you said you were walking into the wind, the one direction. So
there was much wind.
Yeah. And then today, less fun. We just came back from a celebration of life for a coworker of ours that sort of passed away somewhat unexpectedly. So that was what I've done so far today. And then I am getting ready because my football team, who are perennially terrible, are in the playoffs this year. So the big game is, I think, happening as we speak. So I'm avoiding any sort of spoilers or anything. That's the Cleveland Browns. They're playing today. So I'm hoping they can pick up a win against, I think it's the Houston Texans they've got. So I've got a big weekend of football once we get done talking about this. Anything new with you this week? Why am I talking so much? I got coffee here I can drink.
No.
Nothing really. No. You're just wrapping up a semester of grade 11. Getting into what we call in this area culminatings, which I don't know if they exist in other parts of the world, but all your major assignments at the end of the semester.
Wrapping those up and not much else.
And how many exams do you have?
Just phys ed. So.
Right, which is only fitness testing.
Yeah, so nothing really.
So light work for you. You're about to have some time. We got to get at the worst of it.
Yeah, I know.
Have you even done your part yet?
I'm like almost done.
Okay,
probably.
So I'm the one holding us back. That's what I'm just trying to figure out, because that'll motivate me.
I think I'm like mostly done for sure.
So I haven't even started, so we should get on that. But we're at a busy time of school and work, so hopefully there's a bit of a lull shortly after that. But
yeah, that's true.
I was going to tell you, I don't think I told you yet. Did I tell you February 10th, GCW is back in Aurora?
Cool.
And
that's more
I figured
convenient.
we'll go to that. I also wanted to look into, what day of the week is that? The 18th of January is Thursday. Demand Lucha show that we keep saying, like, I really want to go to one, but so far we just haven't.
I'm hoping
made it.
Smash goes to Rec Room again.
So the big match for that one, I think, is Gringo Loco, Jack Cartwheel, and Mustafa Ali in a triple threat.
Nice.
Which is pretty sweet. So I don't know. It's a Thursday. Think about it, but we'll see what happens.
Jack Evans could totally be Jack Cartwheel. I always think of Jack Evans.
Yeah, I remember Jack Cartwheel when he started out at Championship Wrestling, and basically he was not a very good wrestler at that point, but like you could see how athletic he is, right? And all the cartwheel and stuff. Anyways, I don't know. You want to get started talking about our week of wrestling?
For sure.
Unless you have anything else pressing.
I do not.
We will move into our first regularly scheduled segment, and that is looking at some of the week's wrestling news and rumors. when it comes to ratings this week, NXT averaged 722,000 viewers, down 6%, and earned a .21 in the key demographic, down 16%. I think this is up 40% in the 18 to 49 compared to a year ago. So it really looks like the audience is starting to skew younger and younger, which is in time for them to move to the CW network. Do you know most of the content there?
I think they had like some DC crap.
It's right. He's skewed to younger viewers, right? So it kind of makes sense as that demo's dropping. That's where they're going. Yeah, it's stuff like a lot of DC stuff, and like
that's where Arrow was, like Stephen Amell, when he was, because he had that one WWE match and he was at All In.
And I think like Riverdale and stuff like that. So that's it seems like that's a good combination. They're skewing younger in the viewers and they're moving to a network that younger people tend to watch, I think is the point. Not that I know CW or watch it, but I think that is what's happening. Dynamite, under 800,000 to 797, down 0.5, so less than 1%, basically the same as last week. 0.29 though, that's up 11.5% in the key demographic. The show opened, I thought this was more interesting than it's the second biggest one since 3 weeks ago. They opened with over 1 million viewers in the opening quarter of the show, but in the end dropped down to 636. So from over 1 million down to 636,000 for the Sting, Darby Allin, Takeshita, Hobbs main event.
Yeah.
So I don't like that for Takeshita and Hobbs, but let's blame Sting. Although it's probably exactly the opposite. But it's more, find that interesting, right? That how much drops from one segment to
from one part
beginning
of the show
to end sort of thing. Anyways, I didn't have much this week in news, so you go ahead with.
I was just scrolling for last minute stuff, and kind of related is Ric Flair been pushing for more physical spots in AEW.
Oh yeah,
absolutely not. I already hated it this weekend alone. Like I hated that.
Yes, I don't need him to do anything. Well, I think my notes. There's a lot of get off my television about him right now.
That better be what it is, because that's what I want. And like. Did he not learn his lesson from his last match? I don't care if he wants to wrestle a match or just do spots.
Man almost died in the ring.
He should not be doing anything. He looks like he can barely move. Like,
I know.
He looks barely functional.
It's not great. So
it's horrible.
That is not good news.
This past week.
Which we'll get to for sure. Good news for AEW, I think, is Queen Aminata looks to have signed with AEW. Now, I don't know what the heck looks to have means, because that's how they qualified it. Looks to have signed. So like that feels like
not confirmed yet.
It feels like dirt sheet crap of like, we want to report it, but then if we're wrong, we can be like, see, we said it looks, we didn't say it happened. So who knows? But I hope so, because I think she's cool.
Yeah, she's cool from like the couple times we've seen her now.
Right.
So.
And that's one of the matches we'll get to later on today.
Right.
In this show.
Correct.
WWE
apparently has been saying, or they're saying Kevin Patrick, that he's the one announcer who's like kind of
with the accent, yeah, gotcha.
Needs to step up his game to keep his job. Apparently not entirely to their liking right now. I don't know if it's like I forget what it said, but just like he needs to step up his game if he wants to stick around. Kind of.
I haven't heard enough of him to make much of a.
Maybe that's the thing. It's like
But this is going to sound
he's unnecessary.
Whatever, but I just assume if you're a commentator in WWE, I'm not going to like you because of
but as far
not
as
necessarily your fault, but what they're putting in your ear.
As far as WWE commentators go, he's pretty like middling. Like
is he?
I've never really cared. And I think he's one of the main SmackDown guys now.
Yeah,
I think it's like kind of prove yourself. I think Cole's gone or something like that.
I just sort of don't. I've learned something from doing this podcast is I don't listen or pay a ton of attention to commentary. There's very rarely what I
do more in AEW because they say random things and they're like sometimes either funny or useful.
And the only reason I do is because when you're taking the detailed notes for AEW, I'm like, well, maybe I'll focus on commentary because you probably aren't.
And the only reason you don't is because you're trying to ignore Booker T.
You're right. It's purposeful that I'm trying to actually like maybe I'll catch something entertaining that you might not take notes. Speaking of Sting.
Gross.
Reports are that he chose the Young Bucks as his retirement match opponents, which we'll get to, right? That was on this week's show? Yeah, at the end of this week's show. So they were supposed to originally, they being the Young Bucks here, have more time off apparently, but Sting asked them to be his retirement match opponents.
That's interesting.
Continues to say, I think it was Meltzer probably, that he loved working with them in the trios match, as you said.
Which was from the first Forbidden Door. I think it was them and our boy Hikuleo against, I think it was... Those two, obviously being Sting and Darby. I think that was one with Takagi.
Yeah, I'm hearing from
Shingo?
people I trust, Hikuleo's improved a lot. So
I'll see him when I see him.
I mean, there was only one direction to go, I feel like, right? So
Yeah, he will meet again eventually. I'm not seeking him out.
Improved a lot could mean he's gone from terrible to bad. That could still be a lot, right? Depending on how you
Depends
look
on
at
how
it.
terrible he was.
Right.
Yeah.
I only have 2 other things.
I'm gonna save. I'll save that one. Next is, I know you saw this. Did you see the names for the groups, or you just saw that they had names?
I saw one of the names for the groups.
So Lashley's
Right.
faction, who I like to call the Lash Profits, but I've seen people call it Street Business, which I think would legitimately be a better name than what they chose.
Street Business is kind of cool.
It just like
It's very WWE.
Yes,
but
it's the combination of the names, but like it works.
It
though,
does.
All right, I like that.
yes,
I like
because
it.
if somebody who doesn't watch wrestling saw Street Business, they wouldn't be like
That still sounds cool,
total
right? It's not like Swerve
nonsensical.
Out of Glory, where it's like kind of goofy. Although
stupid. It was a reach.
that's grown on me though now in hindsight.
like it.
Anyways, Lash Profits and Cross's new group that I don't care about at all both have names. So did you see the one for Lash Profits?
I saw,
It was reported on.
I can't remember which one. I don't even remember what it is. now.
Lash Profits are the Pride.
Oh, you told me that. I didn't see that one. I saw the other
I saw
one.
people not really liking that one. I don't love it either. It's kind of lame.
But
I think it's the better of the two.
what was the other one now? I
The
forget.
Cross's group or the Final Testament.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That
The
feels
Pride
like,
is definitely better.
that feels like okay. Judgment Day are really cool and popular. So how?
Yeah,
can we
it
get
definitely
as
feels like Judgment Day light.
close to that.
I feel like
as
that's
possible.
also kind of what Cross is now.
Yeah,
Also, Cross sucks, so I just don't care about
big
that group.
supporters of Karrion Kross
I
on here.
never liked him, but yeah, no, neither of these names are great. I would stick to Street Business, and Cross's group can just disband already.
They don't need to. Exist,
They don't
though.
need a name. They're not going to stick around.
Right. Well, my last thing was, second last thing, penultimate thing.
Penultimate.
Fancy word for you. And I put let Jack go into details. So what do you think my news is? It's about TNA.
Is it the belts?
Yeah, they revealed.
I also had that too. Okay,
They revealed a whole bunch of new belts ahead of their reboot, which is happening tonight. That I think I'll check out at some point. And then I have Jack can go into details because you're the belt lover.
I would like to say I don't know how TNA is gonna go with this revamp, but they really nailed the belts.
You're very happy with their belts.
I think that's what the general perception I've seen. I don't think any of
That's
these
good.
belts are bad. The worst one's probably the digital media title, but even then it's like a really plussed up version.
But
of
hey,
the one
it's
they
the worst
had.
belt, so that's all makes sense.
It's just the faceplate I told you, and if anyone wants to see it, it's on Impact's Instagram. And they're still Impact Wrestling. They need to change their handle.
They do.
But the faceplate's like shaped like Jeff Hardy's Immortal title, which is never a good thing.
And if you weren't around to see that title, you should Google image search it
Really,
because it's the worst.
it's probably the worst belt in existence.
That and the Divas are my two. favorite.
It'd be actually. I'd go those two. I would give the New Japan TV title in there.
It is also that is
hideous.
Those are the three on the podium.
Those are definitely the three on the podium. Yeah,
Yeah.
no. But like the X Division title, the new X Division title is beautiful. It's like it looks a little like the faceplate's a little big, but it's a beauty. I think you saw that one.
I
right?
did. I've seen them all now.
Yeah, they're really nice. I think the X Division or the World title might be my favorite. I was hoping the World title would look a little more like the TNA title that Moose had, like whatever era that was, like 2010s or whatever. But the World title is really nice. The Knockouts title has like the white strap in which is a nice homage to the old belt.
Right.
The tag titles are really nice, but I find it funny that they have red straps because that looks like the Knockouts tag titles, which strangely enough are the only ones that haven't seen a redesign yet.
It is a nice touch to do it right before a reboot, and it
Yeah.
reeks of having financial capability, right? Like if you're
These belts, yeah, they look really nice. Yeah.
if you're like on the cusp of struggling or whatever,
you're not
doing that.
They would just work with the Impact belts, right?
Yeah. So I'm going to take two in a row here because
Okay.
it's related. So the only other thing I wanted to do was, again, I don't know if we have, but it's obviously the final card now for Hard to Kill. So we're talking about
And we don't care enough to actually preview it.
these belts that are being defended and whatever. And that's part of it too. I don't really want to preview and match by match in case I don't get around to it, but I think I'll try to. So on the countdown show, as they call it, I was calling it pre-show, and then I realized they all have names for them now, right? So what is it? What is WWE's now, though? Do they have one still?
They usually just call it a kickoff, but
Does
I
Ring of
don't.
Honor do?
I honestly don't even think they
Kickoff
do it
counts.
anymore.
Kickoff, countdown.
I don't think they do it anymore because I haven't seen, like, usually when we record it, I haven't seen the pre-show. I haven't seen.
Well, I
them put on
stopped
YouTube.
recording it once they went to no matches. on it.
NXT has because they had Fraser and Axiom on the last
Right.
pre-show. Right? I think they just call it pre-shows now, but they used to call it kickoffs. I miss when AEW called it the buy-in because I think 0 hours, whatever. That was the ROH one. Right?
Yeah.
I think the buy-in's cool because
It is.
especially when it was like Double or Nothing and All Out.
It's
It
on
made
brand for the
sense.
gambling stuff.
Yeah, but I just think it's honestly like a cooler sounding.
We're
just
trying to get you to
way.
buy in.
It literally makes sense,
Yeah.
right? So that's the best one. And Countdown 2 is whatever. That makes sense. And then I think that's it, right? I don't think there's.
I think so.
But they all have a name for sure.
So on the countdown, looks like 3 matches we're getting. One is the Digital Media Championship, no DQ.
I wish WWE would bring back like they used to have like 2 matches maybe. Like
Yes.
that's good for like an hour.
If you think I'm tuning into an hour or whatever of just WWE talking heads, you are sadly mistaken.
Yes. I
Like,
would
you
love
would
to
have
know.
to pay me a decent
hourly
hourly wage to do that.
I want to see the pre-show ratings just for fun. I would love to know how many people are like actually
And
tuning
those
into that.
people should go on a list.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know what they need to have some testing done or something.
Yeah, you need
But,
to do some psychological experiments.
Because
on
you're
them
watching like obnoxious kayfabe talking heads for an
for an
hour.
hour.
And a whole panel of them where each one is dumber than the last.
Yeah, it's excruciating.
It
even
is.
when there was matches though, because it's like you watch a match, you skip through that, watch a match. But now without the matches, it's like which I would hope
unbearable.
is why I think they've basically gotten rid of it.
I think
'cause
so,
If they
too.
don't, if you don't have matches to put on there, there's really no
It's-
point for a
Nobody's
pre-show.
watching it.
No.
So sorry, it's hopefully Crazy Steve wins that. He's cashing in his Feast or Fired briefcase.
No, he already did. They already had a match. Remember, this is just a rematch.
Oh, is it?
yeah, because they
My sources are
they were
terrible.
already supposed to have a match, or they already had a match, and this one's no DQ now, which I thought they should have
It
done the
is.
first time, and also I don't know why he didn't win. Maybe
Crazy
the match
Steve better win, man.
Maybe the match ended in like shenanigans because like Crazy Steve is insane, but
If you are rebooting your company and you don't go with like the guy that just had a whole big character change and is like they're really putting a lot of I mean they've sort of stopped, but
they kind of stopped with everything though.
if you
so.
don't give it to him and you go to Tommy Dreamer in 2024 as a company reboot, we're gonna have problems right off the bat.
Yeah.
Then we've got Eric Young and Frankie
TNA
Kazarian.
Originals. Okay.
Correct. Against Eddie Edwards. Not quite an original, I guess.
No,
but
because he was in ROH for ages.
He was.
He feels like an original by now, but he's only been there for like probably not even a decade.
he was with the Wolves with Davey Richards.
Yeah,
they were a
exactly.
cool tag team, actually.
So Eddie Edwards probably hasn't even been there for a decade yet, because I
True.
want to say he came like mid 2010s.
He is teaming up with Brian Myers, and we also get Rich Swann and Macklin, whose star seems to have fallen at that place,
yeah,
right?
Ever since losing the
Now
belt.
he's on the Countdown show.
Did we watch him lose the belt, or no? We watched him defending. No, we watched him win the belt.
Right. Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
In
against
Toronto.
Kushida, because as you do.
Yeah, that's right. Then the actual show, I think, going in order of whatever, probably importance. Josh Alexander, Alex Hammerstone.
You think this is less important than Dirty Dango?
No, but I think maybe that might be the opener, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. I just read in reverse order of what they were posted as, because they always start out with the main ones. I assume Alexander wins because he's with the company and he's a big
Sorry,
deal.
which one?
Hammerstone Alexander.
No, which Alexander's winning?
Josh Alexander.
Okay.
Why?
Alexander Hammerstone.
Oh, sorry. Oh, I had Alex Hammerstone. That's why I'm looking at you like, what are you doing? What are you talking about? Makes sense. PCO Dirty Dango. Awesome. Great. I imagine PCO wins just because I don't see why Dango, that's not really what he's there for. Doesn't make me happy. But then number one contender for the TNA Knockouts World Championship in an Ultimate X
The
match.
Ultimate X looks really weak.
Giselle Shaw.
Yeah, sure.
I like her. Tasha Steeles.
Sure.
Fine. Alicia Edwards.
No.
No. Jody Threat. Fine,
Sure.
but not
Yeah,
winning.
sure.
Danny Luna and Zaya
Sure.
Brookside.
Zaya Brookside is really weird.
So not
I don't think we liked her, right? We didn't like her in
Zaya,
in the
we
dying
weren't
days of UK.
impressed, no.
Didn't she have
She
someone
was
with
super
her
young,
after?
though.
Who did she have with her?
She did. I don't remember.
Oh, what? I need to figure that out. So
and she
I'm just
turned
gonna-
heel while we were watching.
Yeah, no,
And we were just like,
watching
she's
her.
fine, but nothing special. Then we get so that match, I feel like Shaw should win or Tasha Steeles. Based on the rest of the group in there.
Yeah,
I think
because
they'd be
most
the
of
favorites.
them aren't like.
Unless they want to if Brookside signed, I can't remember.
Mhm.
So then maybe they want to
Eliza Alexander.
maybe they want to strap the rocket to her. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
Eliza, yeah. One of the interchangeable mid-card blondes at that time.
Oh,
correct?
okay. I totally remember. I totally recognize her now. Yeah.
TNA World Tag Team Championship 4-way match. This is one I will try and check out.
I would watch this one at least just for GYV.
And it's ABC, Bay and Austin. Love them. Rascals, Miguel, and Wentz. They're really good. Despite my thoughts on Miguel sometimes. Speedball Mountain, Bailey and Trent Seven. That's cool.
Funny name.
And Grizzled Young Veterans, right? Gibson and Drake, if that's
Who
what they're
are
going by.
awesome.
I'm really interested to see how they're presented.
I'm happy to see them back to
Me
what
too.
I like, because I always remember that match where I noticed them, which was that where they became the first
You really like Drake,
UK
actually.
tag champs. Yeah, Drake looked awesome in that one.
He hit a 450 in that, right? And we were like, oh,
and they did the electric chair suicide dive.
Yeah.
That was like the first UK takeover, I think, which was like probably one of 3, I think. But no, that was awesome. So they're really cool, and it's been so long since I've seen them, because we watched them on the dying days of NXT. Good.
Yeah.
And then 2.0, they just died a horrible death and became the dyad.
I might, if they're signed and locked up, put the belts on them here. Like, what better way to debut? And honestly, I love ABC, but it's not really.
Honestly,
they don't really need the belts at this point.
You have ABC win here, they could pin like Rascals or Speedball Mountain,
I guess.
And then once you sign GYV, if they sign GYV, you push them and you give them like a solo, like our 2-on-2 match. I mean, and then you have them like win the titles outright. You know what I mean? Because winning the titles in a 4-way, it's like sure, but it's kind of lame.
So that match interests me. The next one I'm going to talk about does as well. The X Division Championship match, 3-way, Sabin, Kushida, Vikingo. That should be pretty awesome. So
I don't see a title change there.
I don't either.
Maybe Kushida, but definitely not Vikingo.
No, not Vikingo. Knockouts World Championship, Trinity and Jordan Grace. Grace cashing in her Call Your Shot Cup.
I've heard Trinity's
out. So Jordan Grace, I'd prefer that.
And Jordan Grace is a good one to have, like, on, again, if we're thinking about this new era.
Trinity has not moved the needle at all or added any. She just brought WWE to Impact or TNA, which I don't really care about, and they shouldn't want in their rebrand. Like, go back to doing what you do.
Mm-hmm. And if you're bringing in a new era, I feel like Jordan Grace is a good, like, just
I agree,
cornerstone to have of that division.
Yep. Sure. And then the main event, likely, I think, is Alex Shelley defending the TNA World Championship against Moose.
Really lukewarm main event there. Hey?
It is. I mean, Moose, not that Moose isn't a primetime guy, but he hasn't been presented that way lately. He's been in, like, with Myers and
who's
whatever.
Been presented anyway lately.
Guess. And so he's just cashing in the Feast or Fired, right, is basically the story here.
Okay, I can't remember if he won Feast or Fired or the Gauntlet thing.
He won the Feast or Fired.
I honestly don't even know at this point.
So about half of those matches, I think, are pretty interesting. Even the Alexander Hammerstone, I'm a little curious just to see. I've seen Hammerstone a bunch, but to see him work Josh Alexander would be interesting to me. But anyways, do you have anything else? That's it.
The last thing I had was Pete Dunne's being teased, baby.
I'm going to drink coffee. You go ahead.
No, it is happening. It's happening.
Yeah, I wish we had a FNS wrestling historian to go over. I could be like, this is the 38th time.
No, this is them actually teasing it though. They actually said on TV. I showed you the segment. Tyler Bates said, like, what was it?
Yeah, as much as I'm busting your chops, this is the most like.
Yeah, like he said, look inside yourself. He was talking about like the old days and like, who is that guy? And he said, what is your name going to be? That's the most outright tease you could possibly.
I kind of like the segment, actually.
I like the segment, yeah. And he's trying to team with Dunn, and Dunn's trying to like do his own thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think going back, like, he literally said Brawling Brutes are in the past. So if that's
good news.
That's fantastic news. So this is the closest we've gotten to Pete Dunn. This is like
the most happy. Your face lights up.
I'm so happy. I've been waiting like almost 2 years for this.
And just even in those segments, like the close-up, or that segment, sorry, the close-up on like Pete Dunne's face, like such a face to put on screen. He just has...
Well, you see him like starting like, it's coming
His face has so much character in it.
This might be the second dumbest thing I've gotten incredibly happy about, because there was also CM Punk getting fired.
I kind of like the idea of he and Bate together doing, we're going to do British Strong Style for real. And if they actually let them do it, if Paul Levesque actually lets them like be a tag team and that's their gimmick, that's cool. Mm-hmm. It's simple, and I will enjoy it very much. And then you have
Dunn turn heel on Bate eventually,
and
then have them feud on the main roster,
and respect the tag division a little.
Yeah,
get that going.
Give them a run. Yeah. Oh, just the. I'm so happy.
I watched this week. What did I watch? Two big, huge guys. It was Ivar and Otis.
Yeah.
Ivar hitting a moonsault is pretty wild.
Still crazy.
And I think
Otis is huge, man.
Did one of them catch the other one too? I think
so.
At one point, which
probably
is
Otis.
Insane.
Yeah. I think Ivar did a springboard, then Otis caught him. But no, this is great because like you said, like there's been signs of him turning, but then they haven't really done anything. Like last year, at the end of 2022, not last year, they brought him back to like singlet, and because when he debuted on the main roster and he was Butch, he had like that stupid, like he had the white tank top and the suspenders and the stupid pants, and he was like an attack dog.
He was like a little rabid dog.
And then they revert him back to his ring gear, which like I thought was a step, and then they didn't do anything. Then they've like kind of been slowly pushing him back. They gave him like a solo match in NXT,
like trolling you, which I like this whole time.
And like then they had Ridge Holland leave him in a match the one week on SmackDown, and Ridge Holland's now gone NXT. Sheamus is out for some reason, so now this. Like, realistically speaking, like you're saying, this is probably, like, the first actual sign they're bringing him back.
And not just you being the, like, super optimist about this.
No.
Trying to wish it into existence.
I've been willing this into existence literally since the day he debuted as Butch. I'm pretty sure, like, I don't think there was ever a point where I outright liked Butch.
Because we were pretty early to the love of Pete Dunne.
I've always loved Pete Dunne, and I thought he was really hitting his stride in
he was.
latter-day Black and Gold. And then they 2.0 was whatever. That was horrible period for everybody except Carmelo Hayes and Braun Breaker.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just completely killed him. Like
They did.
I hate it, but no, I'm so happy about this. This honestly, this is getting me excited for SmackDown next week. I don't care about the main event stuff. I don't care about the Rumble, the Bloodline, whatever crap you're putting on. Like, just
you're hoping for a major high spot. It'll be high spot of your life.
I get to see Pete Dunne again. I might. I've been waiting like almost 2 years for this. It's been like almost a year since I was promised Pete Dunne back.
Is this what people of your vintage would record, like a reaction video?
Yeah, probably. Like, oh, this might be better than CM Punk getting fired. Because man, was I happy that day? Oh, I'm just
you were so happy.
Oh, I'm just so
like
happy.
Like a kid on Christmas.
I saw like a news post that like Pete Dunne was being teased back, and I was like, what is it? And then I ended up finding the video, and then I watched it. I'm just like, the chills. It's just
nice.
It's beautiful.
I think that's it for news, yeah?
It is.
So we'll move into our most in-depth review every week. That's taking a look at Wednesday night's AEW Dynamite. And just to give you listeners a little peek behind the curtain, basically I record a segment, I pause, I add in the little music and do a tiny bit
and
of
I keep talking about Pete
production,
Dunne.
And he rants about Pete Dunne the entire little break in between these two segments.
I love Pete Dunne.
Just so you know that you're just getting a little bit of it on the podcast. I get it in real life a lot. So
I really hope
it's about recoding the video game and et cetera, et cetera.
I really hope they keep one of his themes. Because he's got two. There's the original one, which I know you really like, and then there was the one they gave him when he came back. I feel like I really hope they don't make a new one because the themes are perfect.
See?
And then there's the second one which is
done.
Made by Death Rebel, which is the people they currently use. So they because they don't. I don't think they try not to use the CFOS themes anymore.
See, if we were better at this, you clip all of this and you send it to Pete Dunne. If we were good at this,
Peter Dunne.
But we're not good at that stuff. We're good at coming down here and recording and talking about it, and terrible at any sort of promotion.
Literally anything else.
Letting anyone know that this podcast exists is not. So if you listen to us regularly, just know you are part of a
You're special. You're a little community.
And we appreciate it. We're basically doing this for you and a few others.
Okay, so we're back on Dynamite. This time they were back in Daly's place, and they have the unique set per usual. And it's just beautiful. I really love when they're in Daly's place. It just gives it a unique feel, and I love it.
And you're the guy that always notices, and I'm the guy that rarely cares. But even I have to admit, whether it's the like nostalgia or just the kind of uniqueness,
I think it's a bit of both. Honestly,
it's a really cool venue. It
really is. Yeah.
From a person who never really notices, I noticed.
Yeah, I like it because it's like that kind of amphitheater kind of thing, right?
It is.
So it's like kind
Open
of outdoorsy,
cool.
Right? Which is really cool. The sound like of the crowd, it's different. You can hear it, and then. It's just like you said, it's kind of a quainter feel. It's like smaller, but it's not too small.
Right.
And I really like it. It's like the ringside area is a little smaller. They have the fans along like this wall where like the Titantron is behind this group of the fans.
Yep.
And they had a lot more LED screens this time. Like there was LED screens on the walkway or like where they would come in because the ramp is like diagonal to the ring here. It's like the ramp's in a different position. It's like just there's a lot to love about Daly's. There's like that wall they can walk along. I don't know. It's
to make a comparison
really cool.
That will make sense to you and maybe if Canadian listeners. So the only major like concerts you have been at Bud Soundstage, right? Where it's an outdoor amphitheater.
That's a really nice venue.
Used to be called Molson Amphitheater. Seats like I think about 5,000, and there's seats, and then there's lawns. It's just a big hill of grass where you can also pay less.
Yeah.
And just the outdoor atmosphere, and even the little food places as you walk around. So if you went to see the same act at like the Scotiabank, which is the big, or the Rogers Center, which is even bigger,
it's just like this big indoor
just
thing. Yeah,
doesn't feel the vibe is not the same. And that's
I think
what this
you
is.
touched on it too, which I'm not always a big nostalgia guy, but I think there is a lot of nostalgia on dailies just because we were here the entire pandemic, and then just there's been so many moments here.
When you want a product that feels different from WWE, this place, when it was they were using it so often, it felt different. Like WWE's not going.
They had the stage in the background, or which WWE did switch to for a bit after.
And sometimes wasn't it like it would be daylight, and then it would like the lighting would even change as the show went on, which I think is cool.
Yeah, so anyways, I'm always happy when they're back here. I wish they were here a lot more often, but I guess then it's less unique. So
I guess
I wish they'd come here like a couple times a year. My only the only downside, I guess, is that I can't go there because I would love to go to Dailies one day. Honestly, I would go to Jacksonville just to go to a Dynamite and Dailies. I think that'd be really cool.
This venue, and even though I'm not a fan of him at this moment, Jericho's boat thing is a cool venue.
The Jericho boat one was really cool too. Yeah, that was.
I think those are things
they only did that
once
once. That was when Hangman and Omega won the tag titles way back. I would hope they would do because I know he still does wrestling on the cruises he does.
Yeah.
So it would probably just be a matter of televising it. But I would really like for them to do that. Anyways.
Me too.
Enough about dailies.
Digressions. This is what you get when we record. I feel like midday right now when we have energy and we just had food. Like, let's go.
Yeah. It was. Anyways, it's just a really nice setup. I like a change of pace. It's really nice. And also I thought an interesting thing when we checked out a bit of Rampage is that last time they were in dailies, to my memory, I don't think they've been there since 2021. Unless I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure. Because they made a big deal about this. Like they called it Homecoming, whatever. So I feel like it's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
To my memory, the last time they were in dailies, Rampage wasn't a thing yet. So I think I don't think they've taped Rampage here yet before. So I thought that was kind of cool. And Swerve was on that Rampage. So good Rampage, I guess. Anywho, our opening matches, I guess the guy kind of embroiled with Swerve right now is Hangman Adam Page versus Blackpool's Claudio Castagnoli.
Yes. Starts out hot, this one too.
Random match here.
But they waste no time getting into it.
They got right into it. There was a suplex and a double foot stomp from Claudio. Big swing from Claudio. He falls right into the sharpshooter, but Hangman's able to get out. Deathfly driver from Hangman. We got a bit of a strike exchange there. Hangman hits that springboard close. I know he does with Claudio on the apron, and then he falls out with a slingshot plancha. Claudio got Hangman in military press and slammed him on the entrance ramp, which is really nice. Again, an advantage of having that ramp right out there, right?
Yes, and as you asked that in the moment, can it be considered a ramp?
It's technically not.
There's
no
slope
good
to
word
it.
for it. Entranceway, I guess.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if now that I'm thinking about it, Cole got PTSD because last time they had a ramp going up to the ring. We all know what happened. It ruined arguably the best storyline of the year.
Right. Which for a while I was like, was that even real? Is this a story? Well, what I thought about, and if you're a regular fan, we've talked about it before, is that setup of the quote unquote ramp right butting up against the ring opens up a chance for what happened to Bunny when we were live.
That was awesome.
Where she what I was telling you in the moment, like it just amuses me that we know
out there in the ether.
There's an episode of TNA Impact where Bunny just makes her complete normal entrance, and as she steps into the ring, people like start cheering.
I guarantee we could narrow down the date because I know we went on August 12th.
Because it was a take two where the ring, she fell in between the ring and the ramp, and they literally had
the partition. I guess wasn't close enough.
Redo her entrance, so the crowd gave a sarcastic cheer, which that was awesome. But anyway, sorry, digressions.
Yeah. Hangman ran down the ramp and closed on Claudio into the ring, which again, I always like when the ramp is up or the not ramp, whatever it is level with the ring because it always adds a different layer to things, right? It's just like another avenue to do things, right?
Yeah. Like, if you have good creative wrestlers, that it gives them a new thing to do.
I remember in the infamous Hangman Omega Bucks match, Hangman did a buckshot to the outside because the ramp's level. He was able to do that, right?
Right.
So like things like that, I really like our Phoenix to do, or like a rolling cutter under there, like stuff like that. So I always like when that's there. And again, it's just a nice change of pace. It doesn't always have to be there, but I always liked it. I think early 90s WCW had that a lot too, because I seem to recall them having that, although theirs just didn't have a bunch of screens at the end. Claudio countered a buckshot attempt with a pop-up uppercut for two, or the very European uppercut, if that's what you want to call it.
Yep.
Hangman moonsaults off the apron. Claudio caught him on his shoulder, and he ran him into that stage side wall, like the concrete wall, which again, you don't have that on the other week. So that's again nice change of pace. He went for it again, but Hangman carried into a DDT on the floor, which was cool. Hangman hit a moonsault off of that wall again, unique. Just nice to have a change, right? Tombstone in the ring from Hangman for 2. Fallaway powerbomb into the corner from Claudio. Deadeye for near fall, which again didn't drop him. Like, remember his head didn't really hit the ground, but the camera cut it a lot better this time, because the one on Roddy you could clearly see he didn't touch the mat.
You have to film that from the front.
Yeah, or like just drop him closer, because like Trent does it similar and he does it just as well. So.
Working safe is fine.
Yeah, that's fine. So, but they did camera work it a lot better this time, where it was like we could tell, but it's like it's definitely excusable this time.
Because my thing, I think you do it too, as we're watching, whenever there's like we just go nope whenever they they call a move and we're like no.
I find a lot in the unfortunately the women's match will be like nope. Just like one of the kicks just be like nope. Finish came when Hangman countered an avalanche for Colobomb into a Hurricane Rana, and then falls with a pair of buckshot Larrys for the win. It was weird. So he hit the first one, and Claudio didn't. He sold it like turning around, not going down. So I was like weird, but Hangman, like to his credit, really fast went to the apron again on the other side and hit a buckshot. So it was like I was like okay, that's usually when he does like the buckshot to the back and then to the front. But I guess they did it front.
And we got Buckshot Jones really early on.
Buckshot Jones, yeah.
Today.
I think I pointed that out, right? I don't think you missed.
I did miss it. I wrote it down because you pointed out. It's supposed to be my job. I had one job.
You have one job. What would you say you do here?
So I thought this was really good, physical, back and forth, right? Benefit of a really energetic crowd too in Daly's place.
Again, Daly's really, I think regardless of how I feel about the show, which we'll get to obviously, I think Daly's does plus it up at least a little bit, right? Just, again, the atmosphere I really enjoy.
I thought the swing he did, like, it was immediately going super fast. Sometimes
he's really good at doing that.
He builds into it and it gets faster. I felt like right away he was going fast. But anyways, I think it was pretty obvious Paige is winning here.
Yeah.
Claudio's a great opponent for him to just have a physical slugfest with, right? For sure. To show that aggression, because Paige is wrestling like he's pissed off, which I believed. And Claudio's just kind of wrestling like a guy who loves to wrestle people, right? And so it was a quick little...
for you.
Exactly, made sense. And... I like this so much that I assume it would be my match of the night just in the moment as I'm writing it. I thought this match was awesom. I
don't think it got much run for its money.
I'd love to be proven wrong that this isn't the match of the night, but we'll get there, I guess.
Yeah. We'll see how they follow up last week. I don't know. It was a really good opener. I enjoyed it. Not a ton of reason for existing, but both these guys are really great in the ring, so I'm not going to complain. And Hangman's my boy. So I like to see him wrestling on TV. Never doubted the win, but don't mind some Claudio action because he's really crazy in the ring, so he's always a joy to watch for sure. The ease in which he swings people, like you said, is always something to see, and he just chucked Hangman on the stage with the same level of difficulty.
And it's a backhanded compliment. I don't know. He doesn't need to win. He's one of those guys.
No.
He can just come out, have a 15-20 minute banger, and move on.
And I'm glad he had like that run as ROH champ where he was winning a lot more. So that's like he's had some good runs too.
Yeah.
The Daly's Place environment really helped us too. I imagine it will throughout the show. The change in setting with that wall for Hangman to jump off of, the different ramp set up, and the crowd just being really lively really helps. And again, just like the outside atmosphere gives it a different sound quality to it. Not in a bad way, just like
feels fresh.
Yeah, I like it. I just really like Daly's, of course, and a solid match to start us off for sure. And then we got a highlight package in remembrance of Brody Lee because. Think that he never. I thought the sad line they said was he never made it out of Daly's, like he only ever wrestled.
I would never have thought in those terms.
Yeah, but that's sad. So
it is,
and I think he also was in that short period where they were in Atlanta, that really small like warehouse, like the Nightmare, whatever. That was weird. I didn't like that.
I do really appreciate AEW they do continue to keep his memory alive, right?
Yeah,
and it's not just lip service that he's like, we're always going to talk about Brody Lee.
Yeah, and like anytime there's like I think when they're in Rochester, they did something like this, then now they're in here.
And this really nice package, right? And a reminder of how awesome he was, because you can start to forget and just like, which is, I guess, like good why they're doing it then. He's the perfect example of the guys I want them to grab from WWE, right? They're either misused or underused, still in their prime though, who can come and do something different. He was a perfect example of that.
He's good. I think even Moxley, you could argue.
Yes, you can.
House of Black.
Yeah.
The two obviously from WWE. Swerve is a great example, obviously.
Yes, exactly.
There's a lot more. I don't really need to list them off. But yeah, he was really great. So it was really nice to see him doing this. And as weird as like will say it is like because Preston Vance and AJ are randomly in matches this week.
It's still a nice touch.
I do appreciate why they're doing it. Like, yes, they never like. I think this thing you said to me was like they never use Preston Vance.
I think my notes say they dusted
him off for this.
Right.
However, I do kind of. It's like a what's a double-edged sword or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I do appreciate that they do that at least.
Yeah.
Like it's and he is somewhat prominent though. Like, but anyways, I do appreciate they do this because they don't forget him still.
No,
so
they
that's good. Any chance they get, they
haven't seen
do
Negative
something
One
for
in a
him.
while though.
Yeah, I was just one
He's
like
probably training with Nick Wayne.
I was thinking, I guess because Preston Vance was like outright Brody's protege.
Maybe Negative One is Nick Wayne.
I thought Negative One was the devil.
Just
but
kidding.
Maybe not. Like I would have liked to see Silver and Reynolds on here instead.
That could have made sense.
I would have
for
liked
sure.
them to just because I like to watch them in ring a lot more than Vance, and they also have ties.
And they
so
were original Dark Order.
it would have worked for me. Yeah,
people.
for sure.
They were
and
like the
Uno
first people.
And, yeah. Where did Grayson go? Because they re-signed him
and
then
he
he's gone.
vanished. He wasn't in ROH for a
it's
cup of
because
coffee.
I just remembered that he left the Dark Order.
Yeah, he did. And
I
then
honestly forgot about that.
into obscurity.
He like was with the Righteous, but he never outright joined them,
Mhm.
and then he was just vanished. It's really strange.
Mhm.
I don't.
He gone.
That's weird. Anywho, multi-man up next. It's Orange Cassidy, Pero Peligroso.
My
That's
notes say 10 every time.
press 10 Vance.
Right.
That's his Instagram handle, which I've always loved. I think that's really funny. Dustin Rhodes with his ankle intact.
Yeah, thanks for selling your ankle getting
And-
broken with the
yeah.
cinder block
Mhm.
last week.
And black-clad heel Adam Copeland taking on the star-studded quartet of Lance Archer and the Mogul Embassy minus Swerve.
Did you see Rebby Sky wearing her Edge t-shirt? Apparently there.
I didn't even see
I
Rebby
don't
Sky,
even
period.
like to give it oxygen because I feel like nothing she does I can count on not being a work, and it's just like I need my 50. I haven't been in the spotlight in a little bit, so anyway, so
I honestly
there's
haven't
rumors
seen
there.
anything I haven't seen Rebby Sky at all.
But yeah, this is seemingly pretty random match on paper here,
One of two.
and it's just a weird combination of people with Edge as the fourth man on that.
And Archer again being dusted off. I understand why you're
Dusted
dusting
off
off
is a good-
Vance, but why is Archer here? I don't
And Jake the Snake's still there.
hate
Kicking
Archer,
around.
but I just like every time I see him, I'm just like, he's not amazing. And also, it's like I know they're just not gonna do anything with him, so give me someone else.
So to me, I would way rather in the exact. I feel like they're basically the same role. See Cage, right?
Cage. Well, he was here.
Brian,
obviously.
sorry, not Christian. And
Well,
that's
Christian too.
And that's the thing. Like he's a better version of that. Like you're gonna see him sporadically, but at least when I watch Brian Cage, it's like he's a video game character.
Yeah,
to
I
me,
love
and
seeing
he's
Brian
just
Cage.
Crazy spamming high
Yeah.
impact stuff.
Speaking of which, Christian was not on the show, and I
No.
hate that because again, his segment last week was like,
But you get
Perfect.
10 and Anna J and stuff, which again, I get what you're doing. And
I get
it's
what they're
lovely.
doing, yeah.
It's just not as enjoyable for me.
for sure. There's Stun Dog Millionaire from Cassidy on Cage. He avoided double clothesline from Gates of Agony, then he got pounced by Leona, which looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Leona had his beard trimmed,
bothered
which
you.
looked really weird.
Yeah, you didn't
It's
like
just like,
that.
well, because he's got that nice like savage look, which I know is kind of stereotypical, but it's like a cool look for him, and I feel like it just detracts from that a
Less
little.
menacing, I would say, for sure.
It just looks like he went to his barber, got touched up, and then came out doing the same old shtick, which is weird.
Yeah,
Just
a
to
guy
imagine.
like with the character as we understand it shouldn't be going out and getting like a fancy
like this-
beard trim.
Now his beard's like perfectly like rounded
Mhm.
instead of like this like
Should be crazy.
Yeah. Anyways, it was just weird. Release suplex to Cassie from Archer. Cassie's on the middle rope. Archer hit like a really nice step up knee, which was
Yeah.
kind of cool. Preston Vance gets a hot tag flurry naturally. There's a lengthy parade of moves where everyone's
There
doing
was.
something. Not much to note there. There's so much. Archer accidentally booted Leona, so Cage gets mad, clotheslines him out of the ring, and then Vance wins with a pretty nice discus lariat to Khan for the win.
Nice
which they had to
moment. 10 gets
replay
the pin,
because they
obviously.
were camera cutting.
Oh yeah. So we missed something going on the floor.
Not we. Their
Right.
cameras.
The-
They cut away
whoever's-
too late.
I'm sure the cameras are fine. Whoever's switching them back and forth. It was like you caught the tail end of whatever was supposed to happen on the floor, then go back and catch the tail end of the finish, right? So
They
yeah,
did have to replay it, yeah.
it doesn't seem to happen too often there. I feel like that probably wouldn't happen in WWE. They're such a polished product. I'll give
They
them.
also cut so
give
many
them their
times
credit.
they'll get it anyways.
They've cut back. Like I've actually been checking out a little bit of Raw and SmackDown just to see the
Yeah.
and there are fewer cuts, I feel like, for sure. This match, sorry, getting back on track here. Pretty random match, especially like I said, the inclusion of Edge. I thought it was like I like this. It kind of was like an empty calorie kind of fun thing, right? No
Yeah.
one really got to do much or an extended run. but the pace was quick, and there, like you said, there was kind of a parade of moves and stuff, right? So yeah, they're just using 10 as this connection to Brody Lee, which is nice.
I do appreciate that, yeah.
But then he's going to be back on the shelf for another, however, 6 to 8,
Something like
12 months, whatever. And I kind of like Gates of Agony. I wish they were on Dynamite more.
Yeah.
They're just menacing big man
with them
team.
Being affiliated with Swerve, there's ways to use them or like here and there, right?
Yes, and another cage appearance with no drill claw. Is that even legal?
I don't think I was.
How do you put him in a multi-man? You telling me he can't hit the drill claw on Dustin Rhodes or 10?
I was saying,
come on, man.
It was really mean, but he should drill claw Edge and make him retire again, which is really mean, but it is what it is, honestly.
So that was disappointing, but like a fun little match, but pointless, right? Empty calories.
I want Cage to run in and get revenge for the Team Taz fiasco and drill claw Sting.
Yes.
Remember when he powerbombed Sting and everyone was like,
oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, and then now Sting doesn't take bumps for Hobbs.
Nope.
Yeah, no, this was solid though. I didn't find it to be amazing, but it was like harmless fun. Strange lineup of guys, which we've already mentioned. Because like where have Vance and Archer been? Why do I need to watch Dustin Rhodes? Edge is not feeding Christian.
Dustin Rhodes should be in a cast on crutches.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, no reference for nothing about Christian for Edge.
No.
Which I mean,
yeah,
maybe
you're
that's
right.
good. Like
it was like Edge was just a
mid-card
dude in a.
He was plucked from the timeline, put here for a week, and then we'll resume next week or
this
something
is barely
like that.
Canon.
Yeah, exactly. Vance has been doing some things at Alpha and Collision, but I don't think it's been much. Also, I don't watch that. There's some solid bits with Cassidy, Cage, and Archer, but the rest of this was just okay. Weird to have Dustin and Edge. Feel like we could have made some better choices, even if we're trying to honor Brody a little. Like maybe you have Vance team with Dark Order just for this once,
right? And
then they could face Mogul Embassy and not Archer.
Because as we said, you're barely clinging to canon here, so why not? Right?
Yeah, I really would like to see the rest of Dark Order here just because I'd like to watch them a lot more than Vance. No offense, but appreciate what they did here.
I find 10 is like, he has an arsenal of cool looking moves, and that's all.
I liked him more in Dark Order.
Everything else I think is lacking.
Because then he didn't have to be that interesting because he was Dark Order, and now it's like, you're kind of your own thing, so you have to be interesting, but you're still not interesting even though you're with Ruth.
I don't find he moves very fluid. I don't find he sells very well. I'm keenly aware that I'm watching a guy like pretend to fight.
I don't see him that much, so honestly, I forget how bad or good he is.
True. He's not terrible. He's just not good.
Next, we get a Bullet Club Gold interview. Jay was talking about how they are champions and they got gold in their blood. The Acclaimed interrupted with Billy Gunn, or Bully Gunn, I guess is the typo here.
As he is known now.
I guess. The Acclaimed walked in suggesting they could combine forces and form the Bang Bang Scissor Gang to take on the UK.
No.
Yep, I know. Jay said they need to think about it, and Golden told his dad to stand by his fax machine, which is kind of funny.
That was funny.
This was fine. I like Vocal Gold's little bit at the beginning because White's great. Just the way he cuts promos, I say it always. I love the way he's got his own way. Like he's just something about him. Like it's hard to quantify. Not on board with the super faction though. They did already with the Guns and the Acclaimed. Let's not forget. We've basically run this before.
We did this. They fought over Billy Gunn.
Yeah, and the Acclaimed won that, and that was their face turn. And it was strange. Doesn't need to happen again. Bang Bang Gang should not be turned face ever. Not even borderline face, like what this is seeming to imply to me. What makes them work is that they're these obnoxious pricks that you're not supposed to like. Right. They're just like these annoying guys who like just pick on everybody, and they're annoying, right?
They shouldn't want to merge with anyone.
No, they shouldn't want to merge with anyone. No one should want to merge with them,
right? Either,
if I'm being honest. They're the cool heels. Have them fight Cole and his guys on their own. Because when Juice comes back, please be soon. I miss Juice dearly. Since Cole's injured, you could have 4-on-4. You have Bang Bang Gang versus everyone in the new group except Cole, right? And then you could have them take the trio styles and fight the Acclaimed. Fight the Acclaimed, not the super faction crap. Bang Bang Gang, Bang Bang Scissor Gang does amuse me. I will give them that. But it's not worth this to me.
So similar, I thought everyone did their job fine here, but I don't want the super faction, and I'm hoping that this is an opportunity for Bullet Club Gold to like lead the Acclaimed on a little bit and then be like super
I hope
heels.
So, because I want
because that's more acceptable to me.
I said the same thing earlier. Like I didn't want the Acclaimed to be baby faces, but they ended up working out.
They did for a while.
With Bullet Club Gold, it's like I loved them so much last year, and this is a
they should just keep being immature pricks who just mock everybody.
They should not be doing this. They can still be heels, and
maybe they are. I'm hoping.
Yeah, I'm hoping this is not going in the direction I think it is. Like they'll think about it and they'll be like, "Hell no," because I really don't want this.
Like this odd couple, like odd trio pairing, right? Is not
Odd sextuple, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I do not want that. Next we get to hear from Samoan Joseph,
Hooray.
who has custom side plates.
Oh yeah, he does.
I didn't notice that at first, but I noticed something weird on the side.
I just thought it was
plates, and I
normal
like,
until you were like, no, they don't do that. I'm like, oh yeah, they don't.
They
do
haven't
that.
done that
Yeah.
before. They used to have the nameplate, which honestly I kind of like that better because as much as I like the side plates, it's like that's WWE's thing, and I think that's fine for them to just do that. I've seen some people say that too.
So he's the first
like,
Samoa Joe?
He's the first.
Nice. Good for him.
And also his side plates are like all gold still. So like WWE's, it's like there's always kind of like the logos are sculpted and it's like there'll be like black in the middle and there's going to be some color to it, right? So it's more noticeable, but their title also has more color in it, I guess. Like there's usually like some black in the center, I guess gold in the center with the new belt,
right.
you know. But anyways, custom side plates, that's neat, I guess.
It is.
I guess have those for Swerve.
Yeah, get them ready. Get the ones already could have them minted and waiting, in my opinion.
Joe talked about changes to the championship protocol, and I guess he wasn't referring to the side plates. He said, no more going out to the ring to complain or go to social media and make your comments. He said, if you're deemed worthy, then Joe will stomp your ass out in front of everybody that has ever cheered for you.
Love it.
Just funny. Swerve came out in a big-ass fur coat with the Mobile Embassy.
Looking awesome.
Just lost.
The fur coats are part of the, just cool.
Mm-hmm. Not everyone can pull that off.
No, for sure.
Swerve said a few months ago he told Hangman Page he was after a spot, and look what happened. He took it.
He
said this ain't personal. He just wants the AEW title, and he's going to take it. But if Joe wants to make it personal, he's more than happy to. Then Hangman came out, and he recapped some of his 2023 matches with his big ones, like being Mox, the Blackpool feud, and whatnot.
But love you, Hangman. You just lost to Swerve, so step back in line.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, but he said he lost sight of the title last year, and he said he will make it his. Nana pulled Swerve back, and Paige told Joe he hasn't forgotten what Joe had done to him. Or, not that he did it, he had it done to him.
Yes.
That's the wording there. And Hangman said he's going to take Joe's title from him, and then he left too as Joe held up the title. It was weird, like... Usually you cut and then they leave. But like,
this is
Swerve and Hangman left like prematurely. Then Hook came out. He had like a bat signal, and he stared down Joe, pointing at the title and saying next week. Because
he did, his record earns it, I guess. Because in the Tony Khan tweet crap that I don't even want to talk about, frankly, he's like 20 something and 1 or whatever. Anyways, I thought this was a solid segment. It's this idea of like. People are lining up to face Joe, and Joe doesn't really mind. Like, he doesn't really care. He's pretty sure he can kill anybody, right? Kind of feels maybe we're going to get a triple threat, where I assume maybe Joe pins Hangman. And
that's what I would assume. And
we're delaying
that's
Swerve's coronation a little bit so that it can take place on a bigger stage, which I'm fine with, right? Like, Swerve's undeniable, so let's do it on a major show.
In a solo one.
And find a way to get there. And if that's how we get there, then that's fine. The Hook thing, I don't really understand. It doesn't really bother me. It's just like a placeholder challenge, I guess, but came out of nowhere for sure.
Yeah.
And can anyone just walk up now and be like...
Which he literally didn't he just say not to do that, or is that something else?
I don't know. But anyways, it doesn't make sense to me, but fine.
Yeah, sweet segment though. Joe's off to a good start here. I thought he's always great on the mic. I liked what he said. Swerve and Hangman coming out is even better. Swerve's bit was great. Hangman's too. I like both of that. I like Swerve just again being about the top spot, and Hangman getting back on track is also what I like.
And I like the whole like it doesn't have to be personal, but if you make it that way, I don't like that's fine. Yeah. But look, you're gonna get the Hangman treatment.
I thought it was weird that they both just left because I thought this was really like sometimes we say things are too long. I thought this was too short. Like, you could have gone like a bit more. Had these guys banter.
And sorry, we hustled to get to Hook.
Yeah, not a huge fan of Hook being involved here in a title match next week. That's really strange. It's also sponsored by a Suicide Squad game. Like, why?
Yeah.
Not sure why he gets to call that shot, because to me, he ain't nowhere near ready. I don't hate him. I don't mean to crap on Hook, but he's not ready.
And
it just doesn't make sense.
It's tough because the way, and I was a big Hook fan to start, right? But the way he's been presented, it's hard to have him lose a whole bunch and still feel the same, because the whole thing is he's just this silent killer who comes in and suplexes you and blah, blah, blah. So as he has to lose more and more, I don't know where you go with him. He's going to have to evolve, right?
Yeah.
So maybe he can. I don't know, but we'll see.
TK really saw WWE with Ginger and raised them Hook as a counter. Like, to be impartial, if I'm going to crap on Ginger, which I am, because why are they they just brought Jinder back, had him get crapped on by The Rock, and then they're like, oh, here, have a world title match 2 weeks later. That's stupid. So if I'm going to crap on that, I'm going to crap on this. Because again, Hook's been undefeated, but he's not much more prominent these days than Jinder, like arguably, like, and he neither of them for different reasons should be getting world title matches.
And then the internet exploded as WWE fans who hate Jinder Mahal run to defend Jinder Mahal because the AEW fans have like, oh my God, people, relax.
I think
it's all gonna be fine.
Yeah, I don't think. You really have to be some sort of shill if you're going to defend Jinder Mahal just because of an
I think it's one of those,
like, no one would defend Jinder otherwise.
I think it's within your friend group, you probably have the one person that you like, your whipping boy, right? And you guys mock him and tease him and whatever, but you're not cool with other people doing that to your buddy, sort of thing.
That's definitely,
I think is where we're at. It's just immature, meaningless nonsense.
The Hook one is better to me probably because Tony Khan's right. He's got like, at least in kayfabe, there's that record. Because Jinder has lost, like, when's the last time he won a singles match, right? Or let alone on TV. So, yeah, either way,
But then there was an example of someone else pointing out someone who hadn't done anything, and TK gave a shot right away. I forget what the specifics was.
Yeah, but they do open
But it was very similar.
Anyways,
guess what? Both companies do stuff really well. Both companies make stupid decisions.
So
and we can just be okay with it.
Joe's first defense being against Hook is not sitting too well with me. Just like,
it's not super prestigious.
Like no, I don't like that. Then we get a Tony Storm interview. Renee was talking about the new signing, and Storm immediately thought Wendy Richter. So she said Peraza sounds Italian. Storm said her name wrong. Storm, like, she forgot her closing line. She said line, and then Mariah May said it, and Storm said she ruined it. I thought this one was actually okay.
Me too.
I thought
these are
what
hit and miss. I was amused by this one
because I thought what she was saying to May was amusing, like about not watching her match, and then like you ruined my ending line that was funny, and then the Peraza bit was whatever. So this is it's a mixed bag.
Yeah, I think we're like the only people it seems like that don't absolutely love this Tony Storm stuff. But I thought this one was kind of funny. But like part of the problem for me with this character, though, as amusing as it can be, is if someone like Peraza comes in and she ends up losing to Tony Storm right away, which I think she probably will if they fit.
I hope not.
But like, I feel like it makes her look weaker than if she lost to like a standard character. You know what I mean? You're losing to a delusional person who thinks there's a 50 star and doesn't even know who you are.
Yeah, like regular Tony Storm, if she won, that wouldn't be fine.
And you're coming in as being Peraza. I'm talking about a hyped up, serious technician and wrestler, and you're going to lose to like a comedy character.
Yeah.
That's why I don't love this ultra comedy or whatever you want to call it and champion. I think it makes the people that lose to you, it hurts them a little more than it should.
Right.
That's super nerd levels. I get it, but that's how I feel.
And it's different with Christian because he's also delusional, but he's a different way delusional, and he also cheats an insane amount.
Yeah, and it's a more standard, like you're cutting to black and white when this woman is on your screen.
And she's like so out of reality that she's expecting Wendy Richter.
Right. And if they were to play up the whole like, but when the bell rings, she's an absolute, you know what I mean? But they don't.
They don't, no.
It's just like, and she's still in character during the thing, like with Luther getting involved now and stuff. So I don't know. That's just me. I don't want Peraza, a heavily touted like technician coming in, losing to this. I don't think it does her any favors. But
yeah, no,
I guess
this
we'll see.
Character's got flaws,
limitations. I feel.
If she lost the next pay-per-view, I don't think I'd care.
Yeah.
And also on that note, it doesn't look like we have any pay-per-views till Revolution, so that's good.
Right, we're not doing the monthly. Because after
if there's something this month,
I got a little nervous because I don't know if we can keep up the quality.
Yeah,
right?
No. If there was something this month, I think we'd know. And then February, I feel like we would be hearing something. So
I'm okay with that.
If we keep it to like 6 or 7, that's still like that's more, but it's not monthly.
And then still do special shows. Winter's Coming.
Winter's Coming. But
Fighter Fest or whatever they were.
Yeah, the summer ones were Fighter Fest and Fight for the Fallen.
That's fine.
Do those two and do Winter's Coming. But actually do it because last year, at the end of last year, they did do Winter's Coming, but they kind of just thrust it upon us, and then New Year's Smash and Holiday Bash, like, actually kind of built it, because I remember the first Winter's Coming was awesome, because there was Mox Omega and, like it or not, Sting's debut.
Right.
And then, like, other Winter's Coming, there's, like, I don't know, it just feels like, and you gotta do special graphics again, because now they just put the special logo on there and, like, a bit of snow. They used to be, like, the full-on blue, icy graphics, like, do that. But, yeah, so I think we're just sailing till Revolution, which I like. That's good.
Happy with that.
That's good. And that means Ospreay is
near
incoming. Yes.
Then
we get Sammy Guevara dressed as Buzz Lightyear versus Ricky Starks. Good to see Starks on Dynamite again. I like Starks.
My first note is this is a very WWE match to make, right? Like ahead of a larger match, let's take a couple of.
Yeah.
It's either the other way. You form them in a tag team before a singles, or you split the teams into singles before they.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Precisely. Yeah, and I hope this is like we get some of the tag titles more on Dynamite after this, because
Me too. I love tag team wrestling, and you have such a super talented roster.
private parties.
Let's
here,
go.
baby.
I know. I'm excited about it.
Yes. I'm disappointed they weren't on the show this week. I
Me
saw them
too.
a bit on Rampage.
Maybe not a smart decision to not follow up on that.
Yeah, they had a
But-
bit on Rampage where they interrupted Top Flight and Andretti. And I was saying to you, Dante was saying on the intro, and he was like, "How's your shoulder?" And then Mark Quinn immediately went, "How's your ankle?" Which,
Yeah.
that's really funny.
Yeah.
But anyways, no, yeah, I'm disappointed that they weren't here, and Peraza wasn't even here. At least she was mentioned. But,
I know, just no follow up.
Yeah, which.
But I
makes-
guess it's almost like a little pause to get the Brody Lee stuff in there.
I guess so.
And
That's
then, like,
fair
we
because
go-
those matches
go back
take up
to
time in the pack. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
fair. There's a big moonsault to the outside from Guevara. There was a really nice like kind of Rochambeau on the apron from Starks.
Really nice.
He like it was kind of Angel's Wings-esque where like he had to do the 180, but he did on the apron. Like
Looked
he didn't drop
painful.
him prematurely. Didn't land weird. Like
No.
perfect.
Yep.
Starks gets his feet up on a moonsault. Looked nice, and then from Guevara, then he
Yeah,
followed with
feet
the
up
lariat.
instead of knees up. I
Yeah.
love that touch.
Yeah. And a sit-up powerbomb for 2. Then the finish was really weird, too. There was, like, the super kick, which looked like it caught Starks really well, but then a really weird-looking, not great-looking roll-up from Guevara gets the win. Oh, wait, for Starks. Sorry, I should have meant Guevara. But, yeah, Guevara got the win here. Then Big Bill beat him up. Then Jericho made the save with his music playing. It
Yeah.
was weird.
And you were
Talk
like,
about
why
that.
is his And my immediate thought was,
To drown out
they're
anything.
nervous. He's getting booed again, and that will hopefully drown some of it out. I don't know if that's right, but I think that's probably a fair
Makes
guess.
sense.
I thought Starks looked good in this. I found Sammy didn't do a whole lot,
Sammy is boring as a babyface.
and then won with the kick.
That really caught me off guard.
And to keep with the WWE feel of this, I feel like Starks losing clean here means that they retain when they wrestle for the titles. Like if
That
I
is
know,
a general wrestling.
I know
trope,
wrestling,
though. That's
yeah.
I don't
True.
think that's necessarily WWE.
No.
But I get what you're saying. For sure.
The aftermath felt strange to me for a few reasons. Like Guevara and Starks. Remember, they're just kind of walking around ringside, looking like
Yeah.
they're trying to get to somewhere, but just
Looked
not
like they were trying to leave. It's like
not
they
fighting
were
at all.
It's like
They thought they weren't on camera, and they're just like, "We'll just walk out now."
it felt like it kind of looked like they were in separate. Like so, pictured as it's let's say Guevara's feuding. Like there's 2 separate singles feuds, and then like Big Bill came in and Jericho, and so Jericho and Bill are feuding, and like they're unrelated,
Yeah.
so they're like just getting out of there.
And it's like when they're crowd brawling and they're walking to the next location, but they're not like doing anything, kind of thing. And
It's
then
just-
Jericho's music playing over top was pretty strange
and then
the whole
his
time.
skirmish with Big Bill was lame.
Yeah, it wasn't good at all. So I didn't get exactly I don't think we needed any of this, but that's just me.
Yeah, no, it was weird. This match was solid, not too great, but good. I like both of them, but felt like it under-delivered. A couple spots were cool, and I agree. I thought Starks looked good, but Guevara just
He didn't really do much here.
didn't
And
really
I like
do
Guevara.
much, and he's really boring as a babyface.
Yeah.
Like I just have no reason to care about him. Now, again, like they stripped him of any identity he could have had.
And he's good at being hateable, right? Just like that cocky, arrogant, look at me, I'm so young and pretty and talented.
Instead of
and-
Jericho's puppy dog,
Right.
which he always has been, I guess.
Yeah.
Aftermath was really strange too with the mid Jericho run and the theme blaring the whole time, which again makes sense. It was funny when they did it in Anarchy in
Yeah.
the arena when Mox and them were fighting Jazz the first time, and they did like that was the first time they did it. And it was just like I like that it was like this arena encompassing brawl with the theme
was
playing,
funny.
and then they did it this year too,
Mhm.
which was a funny nod to that. And then
But this felt
this
like
just felt it definitely felt like did they do it in Wembley too? I feel like they did.
I don't know.
Because Moxley was in that, so they might have. Anyways, yeah, no, this was weird here, and also I'd rather listen to Wild Thing on loop than Judas.
Absolutely.
Just saying, and Wild Thing is arguably it's way more repetitive because it's got like the kind of chorus bit than the same verse. Like
Yeah.
like it's more repetitive, but I would still rather listen to that
easily.
on loop for a day. Yeah, and then Starks and Guevara bailed. This was super weird, but the match was okay. It was good.
Yeah, it was fine.
Then we get our second random match of the night, which is like this is like WWE at WrestleMania season. They're like get a bunch of people on the show.
8-person matches is the theme today.
It's Willow Nightingale, Chris Statlander without a gimmick, and Anna Jay and Thunder Rosa. Oh, you gotta mention it. Like,
Always
they
do.
gotta do it. I love Statlander.
What is
but
her gimmick? Free agent.
more than a woman?
Being pursued by
Hathaway.
who is in the crowd front
Yeah.
row on this one,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
With a sign, and she pulls it down.
Versus Saraya, Ruby Soho, Sky Blue, yeah, and Julia Hart. Yeah.
I kind of like Julia Hart.
I wouldn't say I like her, but like she's definitely improving, but she's not good enough where she's like not out of the bad crop for me because she's not consistent enough yet.
I find she has some sort of charisma where I pay attention to her though.
I don't know.
For whatever it is. I don't know.
Sky Blue's also getting there.
She is getting
But again, it's given the other people in this match, she's not good enough where I'm like, yeah, like where Statlander and Willow, no matter what, I'm like, okay, that's good. I like them. With Sky Blue, it's like I still don't think she's great, but there's been times where she's been decent, and the same with Julia Hart. So the House of Black Girls are not because Sky Blue's not in it for some reason.
So you turn heel automatically. Where like that's at least a 15% bump for me, like just because heels are.
That's
cooler.
a little bit, I guess. Yeah. Sky Black now, like.
Although Willow's a sick baby face.
Yeah. I wrote this is not a banner lineup because I said to you like the only starting lineups I'd be fine with is like Statlander and Sky Blue.
I like Statlander, Willow.
Yeah, but like they can't start together. I mean.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
But like Statlander and Willow are the only ones I really like here. Like Anna Jay is not good, and we hate her, and the Thiadoom's awful.
Thunder Rosa's sporadically good.
Thunder Rosa's okay sometimes, but my opinion on her crashed so catastrophically in her title run.
Brutal.
Like people want to talk about Hangman Page's title reign under delivering. I think whatever you say about his was way more true with Thunder Rosa because she also had a monumental win with Britt Baker, and they dropped the ball way harder.
And she's not cutting any amazing promos along the way.
Hangman's character was always still good though, and he at least had a feud with like Adam Cole, who's sick. Anyways, Saraya, no good. We don't like her. Ruby Soho, my opinion has fallen on her because I used to like her. And Sky Blue and Julia Hart are fine.
At least we caught was that on the little bit of Rampage we watched, so we get the context on the Ruby Soho Saraya.
Yeah, because that's what I was desperately wanting.
So basically, they used the Harley whatever to make it look like she's going after,
or Parker's with her.
And then
but then like the
Ruby Soho reacts like a 12-year-old.
It paused when they were kissing, and then it replayed when they left, so then it's like it's clearly forced, but Soho didn't see that part.
That's so dumb.
It really doesn't matter.
Sorry, I shouldn't even have brought it up. It was not good television.
Fast offense early on, and Anna Jay's already looking so great because I'm so nice like that.
It's like that spinning kick gets higher and higher up her thigh every time because we call it the thigh of doom, and it was getting close to like the butt cheek of doom,
which is literally probably like the most desired thing you would want if you're the opponent. Cause like there's it's just
getting
like
less impactful.
It's
as
just like
move up that
mush
leg.
there, Yeah. Lot of one move tag out. Statlander hot tag flurry. There's the quad suplex spot.
Once Julia Hart got in the right spot.
Yeah.
I remember that?
Yeah.
It's like she set up to go the wrong direction or whatever and had to switch spots and get on the end. It was kind of funny.
There's the parade offense. Jay hit like the short arm Thiadoom to Hart, then Blue hit a super kick, which was actually decent. And Jay tapped out Blue with his Queen Slayer. Sleeper hold.
Yeah, so of course Anna Jay like 10, right? Gets the win on Brody Lee night or whatever, however you want to describe it, which is fine. But this was like one move tag out.
Yeah,
there's zero flow
no
for this.
Flow to this, or like at least a really bad one.
And then it was just a parade of moves, right, leading to the finish. So super random feeling 8-person tag.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
Some decent moves along the way because you kind of went, hey, the 8 of you get however many minutes this is, like divide it up, and it's like they equally went, okay, I'm gonna hit this and then this and then this, and then we move on. I felt like I was watching a montage more than a match.
Highly real.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Which I guess whatever, but it's like nothing's going to come out of this. Again, it doesn't really matter. So there it was.
This was not great. Felt very clunky, messy in times, like some women's match on Dynamite tend to be, but a little more so because we had so many people involved in here, right? So it's just like
everyone getting their stuff in a quick match.
Bit more of a mess, yeah. Aside from Will and Silent, there's no one to really like in here that I think is great. Hard Blue, okay sometimes. It's nice, I guess, to showcase Anna for the Brody tribute, but with how bad she is, it's really not necessary for me. We can just keep it at Pero Peligroso, and that's good enough.
Yeah,
I love calling him that. They'll never escape.
They refer to him still as that.
As a nickname, at least.
They do.
Yeah.
I heard it.
They tried to make that his name, and I will never let them forget that.
Can't do that.
I'll never let it go. I wish we had Sylvan Reynolds show up if we are really about this Brody Lee tribute. Next we had a Wheeler Yuta promo. He talked about what Eddie said about him, and he isn't anyone's young boy or bitch. He said Eddie beat all of Blackpool except him because he's the final boss of Blackpool.
No, you're not.
And he was amassing a winning streak on Rampage. He said he regained his ROH Pure title on his own, which they did show a low blow. So I thought that was at least funny.
Yeah,
like he did it on his own still, right?
Right.
He sent Shibata packing, even though he's signed now. And he'll beat Eddie on his own too on his turf, which is Rampage. I actually thought this was pretty good for Yuta. He had some solid things to say here, I thought, and then him and Eddie is a solid Rampage match. Like, I thought for Yuta, this was pretty solid.
He took a lot of heat for his last. Was that a live promo where he was? It was so super generic. I thought this was better, and he's really hit and miss on the mic.
He is hit and miss on the mic, so I thought this was one of his better ones. I thought he had like something pointed to say, and like he was confident here.
He kind of is like the Tiffany Stratton, where all of her pre-recorded stuff I think is really good, and then live sometimes I'm like, definitely not as strong, right?
At least that was on a pre-show.
Yeah, I thought I didn't actually write down that it happened, but I remember watching. I think I was in the kitchen getting a snack, but I thought he sounded pretty solid here too.
Yeah,
and sometimes he does not.
Yeah, for sure. Next we get Roderick Strong versus Mr. No Entrance, Brian Keith.
Poor guy, man. I think he's really cool, but they're clearly like, you are gonna have to work your way up at this point.
Mm-hmm. I wrote they better be uploading the UK theme soon.
Right, because it's still missing for you.
Yep. A lot of forearms and chops from Keith. He's got really heavy strikes. Backdrop suplex on the apron from Roddy. Pop over stunner from Keith connected. Great. I think it's like the Diamond Dust or whatever.
Yes, it was.
Jumping knee and a heartache from Roddy for the win. Then there's a brief post-match promo from Cole. He said they don't want to earn anything from you, the fans, because they deserve it. He talked about Strong being 20-year veteran, and he's one of the best wrestlers in the world, pound for pound. He said that the international title has Roddy's name on it. Technically not, because the nameplate, so it quite literally probably doesn't.
No, it does not.
Cole said Payman and Benner are the greatest ROH tag team champions of all time. They never got the respect they deserved. Because he is I and I am him, is as they say. That's the best catchphrase. He said they're one of the greatest tag teams that ever lived. Then he talked about the monster dominant Wardlow. He's finally surrounded by people who support him and respect him. And when the time is right, he said, we are going to win the AEW World Championship. He said they're going to be around for a very long time.
Yeah, the match was enhancement, but a good enhancement match, right?
Sure. Nothing substantial, though, I thought.
United Kingdom need momentum. Keith's here to lose, apparently, unfortunately. So that's what you get.
I thought
I think he's cool, though.
Cole sounded really good here. It's just like there wasn't a lot of bite to this.
Well, and Cole can work as hard as he wants to try and convince me that these guys are important. They're not, dude. Like, I love Roddy, but like the Kingdom are not Red Dragon in the ring. Like they don't have star power to me, and we will neither really do O'Reilly and Fish, but
Red
their
Dragon
matches
are awesome, though.
Are amazing, and they're super
Honestly,
workers.
Even if you brought back Kyle O'Reilly because you can't get Fish, then that's fine.
Like, for all of the time they took to tell this story of the devil, this group is not. It's underwhelming to me.
Yeah,
it's
they desperately need
logical,
momentum for sure.
They do, and Cole's really good on the mic, but he can't talk me into this right now. Like,
yeah, they can't talk their way into this. They need some like. I don't know if the solution is like, do you put the Kingdom in some TV matches and get them like going? Like, because then what else do you do?
They're not good enough to get me going. So I don't know, man. They're not. I don't love the choices they've made here. I think Adam Cole's been sort of given some lemons here.
Maybe this is,
and he might be good enough to make lemonade. I don't know.
He is, but maybe we'll see.
And I love Roddy Strong. Don't get me wrong.
I'm hoping it's not a permanent lineup, because think about this. Swerve also got saddled with the Mogul affiliates, and then he ended up in the Embassy.
Yeah.
So,
okay,
there's hope.
Hear me out. Fantasy book warning. You can skip by it if you want. Red Dragon come back and beat the hell out of the Kingdom and get them out and rejoin.
Yeah, I'm totally okay with that.
I thought you might be.
And just kick the crap out of Wardlow just for funsies.
But yeah, like, I wasn't impressed by this. Cole's a good promo, but he didn't say anything here to help me.
Just kick out the Kingdom, because like Cole says they're useless and they're also bad friends. And then you bring in Redragon as they were. And you just then kick out Wardlow if you want, and literally just have the Undisputed Era.
Chasing the Dragon's one of my favorite finishers.
Oh yeah, I like Total Elimination
kick
though.
To the head.
Total Elimination
it's good
always
too.
Looks nice. Which I guess will come up later.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah, and it still makes me uncomfortable whenever one of my favorites praises Wardlow. Leaves a bad taste in the mouth.
You're being disingenuous, Adam Cole.
If I'm going to complain about anything in this, I will allow the Kingdom to be here. I'll allow them to do whatever they want. But when you start praising Wardlow, I'm going to start picking that apart.
It's funny because when I was referring to them not being stars, I had completely even forgotten Wardlow.
You didn't even mention Wardlow.
I didn't. He wasn't even part of my thought process.
Okay, so we should at least commend the Kingdom.
That's not good.
We should commend the Kingdom on being mentioned.
I guess.
Clearly, they're notable enough to be mentioned. Clearly, the Kingdom are above Wardlow. So whatever You can crap on the Kingdom, but just remember, Wardlow is not better than that.
I guess.
Wardlow's no better.
At least, yeah, he was. I totally forgot. He was in my mind. There was 4 people in that group. And whoops, sorry, Wardlow.
That in the biz, we have a term for that. It's called wishful thinking.
Yeah, I guess.
Next we get Deonna Purrazzo interview. She said, if Storm wants to pretend she doesn't know who she is, Purrazzo will have her people contact Tony's people. Haha, movies. Purrazzo said she's having her debut match on Collision because she doesn't want me to watch her, I guess.
Guess not.
And Red Velvet said she's having her first match on Collision. So they're going to...
She knows I love her, so she's testing me. Will you come follow and watch? I have a Deonna Purrazzo t-shirt, for crying out loud.
That is true. That you do. Now I could get you one more easily.
Do you remember how many times we had to go back to pick up on what...
Yeah, so Velvet did like her stirring thing. Like, she's like, we can stir it up. And then Purrazzo said, is that your stirring arm? And then she's like, good
what?
To know.
And like by the 4th time,
I figured it out.
You
but
did.
I
would have. You could give me 20 times.
I was confused what it meant. Then you were like, "Cause armbar," and I was like, "Okay, that makes sense."
Because she attacks people's
so double
arms
confusion
nonstop.
there.
I heard some criticism of Purrazzo from last week, like, oh, she sounded nervous because her voice was warbling, and to me, that's just indication they don't watch her a lot because her voice is like that almost all the time.
If it's just her voice, I'm not.
Because I used to think that too, like, oh, she sounds so nervous. I'm
not gonna falter on that too much because she sounded totally fine here too. I thought she was good. Why does her debut have to be on Collision though? Now it's almost assured I will not see it, and Red Velvet still sucks. And also just like if you need some women's matches, like an easy women's match is to book Purrazzo's debut, like Mariah May's debut. Boom, that's your women's match for the week because there's only one.
So I'm hoping people like her because she's awesome.
Next we get it's main event time already. Wow.
It is. First note: get Ric Flair off my TV. I usually don't even use punctuation! Exclamation mark.
Allen and Sting versus Hobbs and Takeshita. Tornado tag. And interestingly, they came out to Hobbs' theme. Like usually they just come out to that. The Cal's like, bruh, you know.
Yeah.
But they actually came out to Hobbs' theme, so that was nice. There's a lot of brawling early on. Hobbs and Sting were in the crowd.
My favorite, crowd brawling. You love it.
I don't think you can call it a crowd brawl because that implies they're hitting each other.
It was really basic stuff.
Well, crowd brawling implies they're both hitting each other.
What do you mean?
So Hobbs didn't hit him.
Oh, right. Hobbs just backed up and sold.
Yeah. Hobbs got like thrown onto, I believe the term is plastic trash receptacles because that's like some wrestling lingo, you know, red viscous liquid, the lot.
You can't say dumpster. Oh, it's probably a brand.
Yeah. Or it's like, I think.
I'm looking that up now.
Something said trash receptacles. I don't remember if it was WWE or WCW, but something was saying that because I remember some guy was joking about it. Takeshita was chopping Darby while eyeing Ric Flair, so that was nice. Takeshita caught a coffin drop attempt to the outside and hit a nasty chaos theory on the outside.
Like
he
very
dropped him
high
really
angle.
high again.
Yeah, I was like, Darby's, man.
Enjoy
him while you can, people.
He's not.
Because I don't think he's here.
He's not long for this world.
He's not wrestling to Ric Flair age, I'll tell you that much.
I would hope no one is.
No one should.
Takeshita and Hobbs, and they do the thing from the World's End match where they grab Darby's hands and
my God.
They like swing him a few times and then just chuck him across the ring, which looked insane.
It's been jiffed 1,000 times now.
He like his head kind of snaps off the bottom rope, and like that in slow motion is actually jarring because you can see his head. Like Enzo Amore must have gotten deja vu from that.
And people are like, it's basically what killed that luchador dude, Dovintero Paraguayo. Was that what it was?
I don't know. But no, that looked
so
crazy.
They were like, oh, that was super dangerous.
They flung him really good, though. It looked awesome. But yeah, no, I've seen that clip a bunch of times. Then Sting starts bitching them, as I like to say. But then Takeshita shuts him down with a knee, thank God. Then Ric Flair decides to start chopping Hobbs to no effect. Then eye pokes him, and something happens to Takeshita, too. I didn't want to write it down. Suicide dive from Darby. Poor Hobbs can't get one up on Sting at all. Darby climbs to the top of the stands near the stage, jumps off the coffin drop to Takeshita. Then Sting takes Hobbs onto that like stage side wall and hits an avalanche scorpion death drop through the tables for the win because apparently it's false count anywhere for some reason.
And it was Paraguay in 2015.
Oh,
he broke vertebrae and then had like cardiac arrest from the way he hit the ropes. That's what people were worried about.
On the whole, I was not a huge fan of this. All it did was serve to make the Don Callis family look weak, which is a shame because honestly, I'd say the majority of the run they've been made to look really good.
I hated the way Hobbs came out of this.
Majority of this run, Takeshita's gotten multiple big wins. In multi-man tags, they were undefeated for the first few, right? And then And yeah, like, so this was bad. Some bits of Takeshita and Darby helped us out for me, and Darby took a couple spots that were awesome.
But still, you sort of walked Takeshita back from the way he looked last week.
Takeshita looked amazing last week, yeah. And Hobbs, man, he really suffered. He got absolutely nothing in on Sting.
No.
While having to sell for Sting's mediocre offense and then eating the pin. Sting can't do anything, and nothing can be done to Sting. So
correct.
This is
have a good match.
This is why I don't like him wrestling, and people want to like praise his run. Like, this is why his run is bad, because you get matches like this where
you got to sell his non-existent offense, and
which is
you
like
can't
consisting like those
hit him with
back
anything.
fists and like stinger splash, and that's pretty much it. He just strikes
Death
and stinger
drop
splashes
for the win.
Yeah, and it's like you got these promising future stars who have to look like second rate to a senior citizen for no reason.
Yep.
I really hope this is just a one and done, because the Chaos family is such a promising group. Like, Hobbs has really great big man potential. Fletcher is super great in the ring, and he's got surprising solos potential, which we've only really found out in the past year. But even like his TV title runs off to a solid start with Willie Mack and Angelico.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, and Takeshita, like, arguably main event potential if he's got Callis as his manager.
Yep.
Like, Takeshita's fantastic, and two of those guys are getting bitched by Sting, which I absolutely hate.
Me too.
I'm glad at least Takeshita didn't end up as bad, because no offense to Hobbs, if I'm choosing one of you to protect, it's Takeshita.
Agree.
No offense to Hobbs.
Love Hobbs.
Again, I like Hobbs, but
Me too.
Takeshita needs to be the one that's safe here. But still disappointed, like you said, about how great he came out last week. He looked amazing last week.
Amazing.
That match was perfect, but then we got this. Get Callis family targeting people they can actually wrestle with, and someone Callis can like just be an absolute prick to, because like feud with Omega was great, and like I don't know, it had like somewhat definitive end, but it kind of got weird with Omega and Jericho, and it's like it was whatever. The Young Bucks came out after, so their return's great. Glad to have them back too, because I like them, and it seems like they're back to healing it up, because they got these really small mustaches now.
Well, they will be heels, right? If they're going against Sting in his retirement match.
They had their hissy fit at World's End, right?
Yeah.
Or was it No, it was Full Gear. Sorry, Full Gear. And they look ridiculous with the mustaches. If this is them back to like Nick Jackson being a ridiculous heel, I'm gonna love it, because when they were in their 2021 run as like tag champs, and they had like their
ever evolving facial hair,
their ridiculous outfit of the week. Nick Jackson, man, was the funniest thing. I love heel Nick Jackson specifically, so I'm interested to see them for sure.
So my first part of my note is the crowd seemed to enjoy this match, which means what? What's the implication there?
We did not.
Right? Like, they liked it more than I did. And there were some memorable stuff, like mostly Darby almost dying is the memorable stuff. But at the end of the day, like you said, this did nothing for Hobbs. Takeshita kind of, who looked like a star last week, takes a little step back, which I don't love.
Yeah.
Like, Sting just can't retire fast enough, and this is not a popular opinion of ours, for sure.
That is how I feel.
And Flair needs to get the hell off my TV and out of AEW altogether.
I like that Hobbs no-sold his chops, because I wish they would do that to Sting more often.
Right.
But, like, the fact that Flair is even getting near that, like...
Hobbs should be able to flick him with his finger, and Flair is down.
And he'd be as dead
which
as he
actually
was in
might.
his match.
Yeah.
Like, this is really mean, but if Flair's trying to get physical with them, I want Takeshita to knee the crap out of his face, because Takeshita's knee is killer, so I want him to murder both of them. Like, just smush his face.
Not literally.
Not literally, yes. But no, the main event was something.
So overall thoughts, a step back. We really, really enjoyed it. It was A level last week.
Yeah.
The opener was my favorite match on this show by far. I did like some of the Brody Lee references, right? But that also gave us a couple really random matches with people winning who are inconsequential at best. So that's not ideal. The hook setup, I'm not loving. I did like Joe talking and the others talking, but leading to a hook match isn't my favorite. Guevara Starks was kind of nothing really.
It was underwhelming.
Strong Keith was like an enhancement match, an enjoyable one. I don't know, man. I'm gonna go It wasn't bad. I'm going to go B- this week. I did like the venue. I do like that they're still honoring Brody Lee, but the match was a step back from last week, so B-.
Absolutely, yeah. It was okay, but disappointing after the high we had last week. They really started off the year great, and they haven't followed the best yet, but I'll still give them a chance to find their footing. Matches weren't all the singles matches weren't bad, but the best was probably the opener, which was
I thought so by a wide margin.
Good at best. Then Starks Guevara was fine, but underwhelmed, and then the enhancement match was just that.
I think I liked the opener more than you. I quite liked it.
I liked it. It's just it didn't feel like, I don't know.
You're allowed to not like it as much as me.
Yeah,
that's fine.
The women's tag and the main event were not good in my opinion. The men's tag was fine. But those two matches were not good. The segment with Joe was strong, but even then we had the weird part with Hook, and the rest of it was too short at the very least.
Agree.
Bullet Club Gold acclaimed, no thank you. Storm was okay.
Oh yeah, no thank you to that.
And just, not a strong show, but I don't think it was like horrible.
Me either.
And again, I appreciate Brody Lee tributes, so B- as well for sure.
All right. Well, that wraps up our Dynamite review. We'll now shift gears into a little bit of trivia, and I used AI again this week, so we'll find out what that topic is in Off the Top of His Head. All right, I got lazy. I relied on artificial intelligence.
It's been a minute.
So
they're so reliable.
Here's the input. I don't know how well this one's going to go. It's kind of amusing, I guess. But what did I ask for? Describe 15 popular wrestling finishers in detail. Okay. Then provide the name. Okay. And I think they're all WWE, just to give you a heads up. And I think they're all like major stars by the looks of it. I don't think it'll be too hard, but we'll see what. So a quick and explosive maneuver involves grabbing an opponent mid-move and dropping them face first on the mat. Into the mat. I don't think this is a great description.
How are you grabbing them mid-move? It's like.
When I won't have sound effects this week because I didn't hook them up. I went back and added them last week, but I'll just go back to old. No.
Pedigree?
No. Grabbing an opponent's head, I'll add that. I'll give you that. And dropping them face first.
RKO?
Correct.
Okay.
So they left out a pretty vital detail there, I think, right?
What?
This one's pretty easy. Iconic finisher involving delivering a swift kick to the midsection followed by a jaw-jarring sit-out facebuster.
Stunner?
Yes.
That's not so.
I agree. But that's their best.
That makes me more think of the X Factor.
Yeah. Powerful setup where he lifts his opponent upside down, holding them, very progressive, by the waist, and then drops them into a sit-out powerbomb.
Batista bomb?
No. Lifts them upside down, holding them by the waist? No. How about holding them by the armpits? Does that help you?
Oh.
Armpit powerbomb.
Choke slam?
No. Holding them by the armpits.
Oh, Razor's Edge?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like they miss one little detail every time. Super kick delivered with precision and timing. Often used to catch opponents off guard for a sudden victory.
Sweet chin music?
Correct.
Yeah.
Involves hoisting his opponent onto his shoulders and then slamming them down face first in a fireman's carry position.
Hold on, go again.
Involves hoisting his opponent onto his shoulders and slamming them down face first in a fireman's carry position.
F5?
No, the fireman's carry is accurate.
AA?
Yes,
that's
good.
Not face first.
This one I think they explained perfectly. Double underhook face buster where he clasps his opponent's arms, lifts them off the ground, drives them face first into the mat.
Pedigree.
Correct.
Yeah,
that one's solid.
Yeah.
As soon as you get the double underhook, like there's only, unless they're going angel's wings, which is pretty rare. Unique move where he propels himself off the ropes and swings his legs into an opponent's face, usually setting them up for a follow-up maneuver.
619.
Correct. Hoisting an opponent onto his shoulders in a fireman's carry position and then spinning them out before
F5.
slamming them to the mat. That's good. It's a good description. Classic pile driver where he holds his opponent upside down, burying their head between his legs, drops to a sitting or kneeling position. Disagree with part of that.
Tombstone?
Yes.
Yeah.
The sitting
is a seated tombstone, but
is
the only
there?
time I remember it was
Did he use it?
No, he hasn't.
Oh,
but
okay.
Like that's how Owen Hart broke Austin's neck.
Oh, nice. Shout out to that moment. Unique and impactful facebuster where he hooks his opponent's arms, flips them upside down, and drives their face into the mat. They could have done this better, if I'm going to editorialize. So facebuster hooks his opponent's arms with his legs would be helpful. Flips them upside down. And then drives them, I would say, face first into the mat.
I'm really not picturing the right thing here.
They don't do a good job of describing the first part because he lifts them up and then hooks their arms behind his legs and then ends up flattening them on their face. I can give you an easy hint that'll get you there. Do not tuck your chin for this move.
Oh, Styles Clash. That
Correct.
Makes more sense. Okay, see, I wasn't picturing that at all.
Do not tuck your chin, all you amateur wrestlers out there. Climbing to the top rope, performing a forward flip, crashing down onto the opponent with a full body splash. Not true, but
450.
no.
630.
No. We're talking classic WWE stuff here.
Swanton?
Yes, very good.
That's not okay.
This one's could be anyone, but powerful shoulder tackle maneuver where he charges at full speed.
Spear.
Correct. By who? They specifically chose one person.
Roman.
Correct.
Roman, Goldberg, Breaker, Starks, Rhino.
Right. Everyone.
Batista. Lashley.
Trapping one of the opponent's legs and turning them over, applying pressure to the lower back and legs.
Sharpshooter.
Yes, I don't think they did a great job because the whole grabbing one leg isn't really
No, you tie
trapping
both.
one leg.
Yeah.
Swift and impactful move where he stomps down on the back of his opponent's head while they're face down on the mat. That's a hard one, eh?
Group stomp.
Correct. Last one. Submission finisher involves trapping the opponent's ankle and applying intense pressure, targeting the lower leg and foot.
One might say locking it.
Almost. It does say that, and I didn't include that word.
Ankle lock.
Correct. So, okay, not our best trivia, but I like to
I
challenge.
like when they try to be factual, like historically.
Yeah.
And they just
Botch
mess it up.
everything.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll go back to that next week. All right, so we're going to, I think since you said there's no figure update this week, our final segment is coming up. That's us taking a look at all the other stuff we watched in wrestling, and it was a bit of an interesting week. We watched more than usual. We'll talk about that now, in Highspots and Restholds. All right, so I did watch a bit of Raw just to check things out. I was more watching for like the presentation, and I don't even remember what I watched, so nothing clearly stood out to me. And you didn't say you found anything, or you said you didn't find anything super awesome
Honestly,
either.
I didn't remember anything from Raw.
And we've got some other stuff to discuss. So we'll start out with NXT. I know it's called Highspots and Restholds, but I did find most of this show pretty mediocre. But since I don't have Impact to cover, I've been sort of drilling down a little more into NXT than I normally
Pseudo
would.
review.
So yeah, almost, right? So the first thing other than a recap is Nikita Lyons and Blair Davenport fighting in the parking lot. Oh yeah, this made me laugh so much. I should have shown you. So they're brawling in the parking lot, right? And then it immediately cuts into the arena, and it's the two of them like fighting out the entranceway and down the ramp. And so you get Vic Joseph going, these two haven't stopped for the last 15, 20 minutes, implying they've been brawling nonstop. They're both in completely different outfits. Like they were both wearing like I say normal street clothes, but
Right.
Nikita Lyons I don't think has a normal outfit in her
she
repertoire,
doesn't.
so you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And then like they're in wrestling gear. And Vic goes back to it at the end of the match too, like saying that this match actually started like 15 or 20 minutes before. Then they quickly pause, or like maybe the idea is maybe it works. They were wearing their wrestling gear underneath, and in the brawl they tore off their street clothes.
That requires too much headcanon, though.
Yeah. So, anyways, it does. So we have Nikita Lyons taking on Blair Davenport in the opener. Some of Lyons' kicks look good, some don't. There was a nice spinning back kick at one point. Davenport hits that double stomp that looked so good last week to the upper back of people and kind of driving them into the ground. I thought Nikita did a good job. She kind of sold it as like it was buckling her knee that she'd just come back with, so I thought that made sense. Then there's a lengthy, boring submission in the middle by Davenport. I don't know if Lyons is in ring shape yet coming off. And then that's not a criticism, that's just a fact.
I don't know how great her ring shape is anyway.
You come off a major injury, right? Nikita botches a suplex and Davenport lands on her head. I thought it looked a little scary, but then a German from Lyons. Chop block, finishing knee strike. I think I said last week, I assumed Davenport was losing this, right? Because Nikita Lyons is back, they're hyping her up, blah blah blah. So
get her on the winning side.
So Lyons lost clean after 5 minutes, and
surprising.
And I don't think Lyons is very good. I do think Davenport is pretty good. But I don't think Davenport's good enough to carry this. It's about what I expected, right? I think Nikita Lyons needs more polish. The crowd seems to like her. It's just a lot of kick, and some of them don't look so great.
Yeah, I don't think her kicks are great.
Yeah, and some of that suplex, just because she's strong enough to do things doesn't mean she should, right?
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I was pleasantly surprised Davenport won here and clean and pretty quickly. I wonder if it's part of a larger story for Lyons because it seems weird. They've done all this.
So.
You're coming back and you're the one that attacked me and I'm getting revenge for you taking me out and then you beat me clean in 5 minutes.
Yeah,
so
they're probably going to keep going
somewhere else. Trick and Mello are backstage again in this story that's at a snail's pace, but I like this segment this week. Mello tells Trick he has good news. Trick isn't even sure he wants to hear it because Mello might say something and then behave totally differently. Like he
got you
said,
in a Hell in a Cell match tonight.
like he said, he wasn't going to come down last week, and then he did, and sort of messed things up for Trick a little bit, even though he still won. So Mello says he only came out last week because he heard about a former NXT champion coming out. So I don't understand. Remember how I said like Mello's involvement last week was like indefensible? Like he clearly came out as Trick setting up for his finishing knee strike for no apparent reason and stood on the apron and like distracted him. So this is their attempt, or his attempt. And maybe it's intentional because he's supposed to have like a flimsy excuse because he's a heel, right? But I just didn't get... He said, oh, Shawn Michaels said an NXT champion was coming out.
So he waited till the mid-match.
Or is he saying he's the former champion to make Shawn Michaels' prophecy come true? Like, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Oh, yeah, because Waller's not a former champion. Neither is Theory.
So,
wait. That's weird.
Trick sort of accepts this, I guess, and Mello says he doesn't know how long Ilya will be out. And have you heard anything? Like, I haven't heard storyline or otherwise as to what's going on with Dragunov.
No, I have
since
no
the
idea.
Ridge Holland
I haven't
thing.
seen anything. I assume I'm pretty sure it's storyline, but like I don't know what they're doing.
So anyways, Mello's like, since we don't know when Ilya's back, I managed to get us the last spot in the Dusty Classic. Trick's kind of like, I don't know, I should probably stay dialed in on Ilya and focus on that. And Mello says like, basically, I liked it because Mello's kind of like, well, I'll then be the, what do they call it, Grand Slam champion of NXT, and you'll have like 2 of the 3 or whatever, right? So kind of a slight
2 title Trick.
Yeah, exactly. And so Trick likes the sound of that, and they agree to it. So Trick looks a little bit dumb here because the explanation Mello offered is really hard to believe if you're looking at this realistically.
Yeah, but I also think with Mello, even giving it the 2 title Trick moniker is a good way to sell it because
appeal to his ego, right?
Yeah,
because this is what Trick's like.
It's like, sure, I only get the tag titles, but now I'm Grand Slam. So
that's
it's like,
what I kind of like that
too, right?
It's like I'll be like super great, and you'll be like a notch below that. Yeah, is what he's subtly saying, right? So I do like that Mello's also trying to distract Trick and like spread him thin ahead of Dragunov coming back,
I
right?
like that because they'll compete in a whopping 3 matches.
But Trick was a little easily manipulated here, so they got to watch that. I don't want a dumb babyface Trick because to this point he hasn't been dumb, which I like. Dusty Cup action. I don't remember. You did watch some NXT. I don't know if this was it yet. It was Corbin and Breaker taking on Gallus, which was Mark Coffey and Wolfgang, obviously. So Braun is wearing his Steiner Math singlet again that I think he's worn before.
Yeah, I thought that was weird because that's one of his babyface singlets. So I thought he looked weird with like the heel beard and then.
Right.
I did notice that too. I was like, he hasn't worn that since his babyface gear. They also made a figure of that.
They did.
I thought it was a weird choice.
Braun caught Wolfgang out of midair, which was pretty impressive, and slams him hard. Gallus then isolate and control Corbin for a while, all 4 in trading big moves, including a deep 6 to Mark Coffey. Nice Death Valley driver by Corbin. Corbin ends up punching the ring post to give Gallus control again, all just to set up a Braun hot tag where he dominates, and he does like the German suplex fall-away slam to both of Gallus. Sets up his spear. Corbin makes a blind tag. They briefly argue, and you think, oh, the dissension's going to cost them the match. But nope. Spear for one Gallus, end of days for the other, and it's over after about 11 minutes.
Spear for one Gallus.
That's as specific as I get in my notes for NXT.
Beautiful.
The match itself was fine. Like, nothing wrong with it. Again, there's nothing really bad about this show, but nothing that I'm like, you should go watch it either. And again, personal feeling, I don't love singles super teams beating established successful teams. That happens again on this show. This one's more egregious because Gallus has actually been presented strong and been
were champions for a while, yeah.
And so I get it.
Fraser and Axiom, I think it's fine also because they're like a perfect team.
Right. So fine match, nothing special. So we get the one of 3 segments here because everything comes in 3s on NXT. It's Henley and Stratton on the ranch. So right, Fallon Henley beat Tiffany Stratton. So Tiffany Stratton has to become a ranch hand. And so Tiffany rolls in late. They're talking about she hasn't shown up yet in like, did you see it? The least appropriate outfit for working on a farm.
Yeah, wasn't she wearing like something normal?
And struggling to walk in her high heels, which I thought was stupid because she wears high heels all the time.
Yeah, wouldn't it be like pretty normal?
But anyways, she's in like a short skirt and like basically a bikini top with like a fuzzy little crop jacket or something over top. I don't know, but
Sounds
very
right.
reminiscent of the show that I'm glad I've forgotten the name of, where Paris Hilton and her friend would do the same thing. And I think that's how it started. It was 2 like entitled rich people, like ultra rich, like part of the Hilton Hotel family,
Right.
basically going to and behaving like this. So anyways, Fallon Henley has clothes for Stratton to wear. Stratton refuses. Henley starts listing some of the chores they're going to be doing, and Stratton is obviously horrified, and it's to be continued, and I'll sort of talk about all the segments at the end. Lyra Valkyria is on the mic. She announces a 20-woman battle royale.
Because they've done this like
They have.
17 times for the women, I swear to God.
And then the final 4 will be competing in a fatal 4-way to determine Lyra's opponent at Vengeance Day.
At least that's different.
The weird thing is, though, when you have a battle royal stop at 4, it's going to be strange. And I feel like they're going to overcompensate by commentary reminding us every 5 seconds.
Wait, is it like the 4 ways take place immediately? Because then it's fine.
If it is, and I hope that's what it is, that's fine. And then we go, okay, stop, and then the winner of this
It's always weird when you wait.
And then does that go to just a match, right? So it'll be now not over the top, but pinfall. Whatever, okay.
That's been done just like in a one-on-one
20 women's going to be a stretch. There's going to be a lot of rookies in there.
Maybe that's when you debut Renkowski.
Could be. I don't think Lyra's the best on a live mic at this point, but that's something that's kind of like the last piece for her, I think, to add down here at NXT to keep working. Lola wasn't great either here. I think it was a little too much for her this time. Asked a bit too much of maybe each of them. Pretty standard wrestling fare tag match before a title match, right? Again, that trope we're revisiting. Metaphor earlier today laughing while watching video of Jensen and his friends breaking up last week. Briggs walks up to them, and Metaphor basically tried to take credit for breaking up Briggs and his friends, because it's Briggs focusing on the Heritage Cup, right? As sort of...
Oh, wait, he's going to go for the cup again?
I think so, yes.
Why would you... Oh, I swear to God, if he beats Dar, because remember they did the same thing with Mark Coffey, and then he won? So
Briggs denies that Metaphor are responsible. He wants a rematch for the Heritage Cup, as you're sort of predicting there. And we end up with a Briggs Mensa match being made here instead. And this was a not very amusing Metaphor segment. Like, fine, they're good performer. Dar's an awesome performer, but
Dar's great.
It was pretty straightforward. So even like mid Metaphor, which is almost never the case. Then we get interaction between 2 very important people. It's Luca Crucifino and Ava backstage. So Luca lost in the first round of the breakout. I don't even remember to who.
I think that's Tavion.
That was going to be my guess.
I'm pretty sure it's
but
Tavion.
Maybe it's just because he's the most memorable guy to me of the new ones. He has photo evidence of his foot being under the ropes during the pinfall, so it shouldn't have counted. Ava will pass the concerns along to, I assume, Shawn Michaels or whatever. And then Dragon Lee comes up and says his visa issues are done and he's back ready to perform. Then Lexus King walks up and he wants to accept the open challenge. And I did like the touch of he has a contract there and ready, right, before anybody else can get to it. So that will be the main event tonight. Lexus King as presented, right, because he hasn't really been winning, even as a new guy.
Yeah, he lost the tournament.
And so he's not a main eventer to me at this point, even on an episode of NXT. And I hope Ava gets better at her role. She and King are 2 of my least favorite performers right now, so I could have done without
more bang for your buck
this segment. Exactly. But gets them all out of the way in one segment. As
long as they don't reappear.
That's the silver lining. Well, but we get a King match,
yeah,
so guaranteed.
So I guess not completely.
No. Oro Mensa with Noam Dar, Legend, and Jakara Jackson. Good thing I wrote her first name down because I always forget it. Taking on Josh Briggs. Of course, Josh Briggs win clean with his big old clothesline after avoiding a little bit more involvement from Dar. 4-minute enhancement match, so not a lot of notes. Shenanigans gave Mensa like one brief flurry and then otherwise just like a dominant, as Briggs is building for a babyface singles run or whatever, his momentum. And so this is where my first notice of this, so much of this show is neither good nor bad, ...
It's really helpful when we're trying to focus on
good or bad.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of this segment, is it's either good or bad.
Double screwing you.
Stratton's back on the ranch for the second segment. She's doing her chores. She's disgusted. I guess it's actually the first chore. She thinks she's done and she's out of here, but it's just the first thing. Now she has to wash a horse. So they show her like washing the leg of the horse, and that's it. She thinks she's done.
It's like she's supposed to be there for a whole day. So it's
yes.
like...
And she keeps thinking she's done after one thing.
Yeah.
But maybe that's like she thinks like they're so stupid it takes them all day to do one thing. That would have been kind of a funny way to go. But now she has to clean the horse's stall because they got to put a clean horse in a clean stall. And Henley has a special pink rake for Stratton to use. To be continued again. And already at this point, I could easily be wrong, but it feels like they're building up to the unlikely team or friendship to me, because it feels like Stratton's starting to earn the respect of Fallon Henley. The fact that she's completing the stuff she's doing.
It doesn't feel like she did here. Well, it feels like that could go that way. I don't think it's really there yet. And also, that would suck because they did this last year with Henley already. Like, Henley's already done this kind of thing with Kiana James.
And you're right. And in the final segment of the trio, there's a little bit of a more indication of what I'm saying that we'll get to. Then we get a tag team match for the tag team championships. It's the family, Tony D'Angelo, Channing Stax Lorenzo, and now Adriana Rizzo, the newest caricature in this little trio.
Caricature, nice.
Facing Out the Mud with Lucian Price, Bronco Nima, and Scripps with them, of course, adding nothing as he does. I'll talk about that as well. I feel like maybe they know he adds nothing, but we'll get there.
What would you say he does here?
What would you say you do here? Tony and Stax hit the bada bing, bada boom slam for a 2 count because Bronco Nima tackles Stax into the pile to break up the pin. Scripps tries to get involved, but Rizzo shoves him off the top. Stax hits a dive onto Nima onto the floor. Tony D hits a fisherman's buster on Price for the pinfall after about 12 minutes. To be honest, I thought this was solid, and I think Out the Mud can do just enough to have a decent TV match right now. They might be a useful team going forward. I don't see what Scripps adds at this point at all. Like, no, I get it. You don't want these guys to really speak for themselves.
I think having a third's good, but I don't think he's the third that you want.
No, I don't think so either. And they're going to add another member later on this show, so maybe they kind of get that point too. And just as a side note, the family as baby faces does not work for me at all. This family doesn't really work for me, even though I like some. It's like, you know, when they say the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, I feel like this is the case where the sum of the parts, like if you separate them, I think Stax is pretty cool. Tony D with a different gimmick. Some of his in-ring stuff is fine, but like when you put them together and give them this character, it's stupid. And they're now like organized crime mobsters who are baby faces. Little disconnect.
Yeah, if they're heels, I feel like at least that part tracks a little. You know?
Yes, a little bit better at least. Then we get good old Anonymous filming again, and this time it's JC Jane with Thea Hale and a bunch of Chase U students, but only women. And your theory was interesting on this. I'll give you a second here for that. So you were watching here. JC Jane says that she has an idea to save the university, but she needs to tell them what to do. And they have to kind of just agree with her and do what she tells them to do. And I don't know who these other students are. You recognize one of them. Yeah, and then your prediction was what?
I don't remember. What did I say?
You said like one of those like firefighter calendars or whatever, like the women of Chase U.
I thought I said that as a joke because I thought that'd be a funny thing.
But so what would like the 2024 version be of that?
I don't know.
Like
the funny thing
Chase U OnlyFans or something. Like, yeah, right.
I mean, if we're being real, yes, it would be that. But like with the calendar thing, I feel like or an OnlyFans thing, whatever, anything along those lines is because NXT is clearly for kids right now.
Yes,
they can't go all the way with that kind of idea because like if it was Agitator, then you could like, you know what I mean, that idea would.
But work. I think you're on the track because it's this idea that JC Jane's like the bad girl and like Thea Hale's the super innocent.
It's got to be something like that. Like I think it'll be some really tame version of what I'm saying.
I was just gonna say whatever the diluted,
the safest version of what we're doing. We're saying, right? Like whatever. I agree. The safest way to do that is they'll probably find a way.
I think so.
Yeah, that's fair.
Then we get Kelly Kincaid. She's talking to Oba Femi. Sorry, asks him what's the name for the Oba Femi followers?
Oba Feminists.
Oba Feminists, which I kind of like.
That is pretty funny. I don't love him, but that's funny.
She asks when he plans to use his breakout tournament cash in for a title match. Femi says
that's how it works now.
Every superstar will crumble at his feet. He could cash in at Stand and Deliver, and then he's sort of interrupted as Alexis King comes in. Alexis says that if it wasn't for Trey Bearhill, he would have made it to the finals against Femi. He says Oba Femi is a future NXT champion.
I like that he did that.
Yeah.
I was like, he's like, you're a future NXT. Like, he's selling him on that kind of. So I'd like that.
Kind of like, don't worry about the North American because that's me.
It's kind of funny because it's like, if it was downselling him, like if like let's say King has an NXT title match tonight and he's downselling him, then it's like more like. But it's kind of makes more sense because King's going for the belt that he feels he could actually get. So it's like,
and I think he's
like sending Femi to a big better title in theory.
In my interpretation, it's a slight. He's kind of like, you go for the like you're not going to get it, but go stay out of my lane, my lane, and I don't want to face you because I'm a slimy heel who doesn't really win.
Yeah.
So like I want you to go for a different prize than I'm going for.
Exactly.
Which I get.
I kind of like that.
So then at the end of it, Femi's kind of like, "Oh, you're wrestling for that title tonight," and then he goes, "Yeah," and you can see Femi kind of looks at his contract, thinking like there might be an opportunity, kind of teasing he might cash in tonight, right? I actually think Femi sounds pretty good, and I find his style is really distinct. I don't know if it's heel or babyface. It's just this confident, whatever. They can probably go either direction, but I kind of like his delivery because it's not, it's different, and King still fails to connect, but if that's why he said what he said, then that's kind of interesting to me, right? So I hope, because I'd rather like the guy than not like him, but so far I haven't liked him. Gallus backstage, I'm sure, because everything's backstage, is upset about their loss earlier. Ridge Holland walks by. Joe Coffey with his crazy hair that he's got like plastered down his face.
Yeah, it's weird always when he's not in a match.
Yeah.
I like when he had like the done kind of ponytail where it's like shaved on the sides, but he's got like the long hair and tied up, like
the indie wrestler cut, I call it.
Yeah,
the shaved sides and long top. Coffey sort of mocks Ridge's interview last week where Holland said, and then Holland's like, "I'm not scared of you or Gallus." Joe says he should have stayed a brawling brute because now he's in NXT. He doesn't know how long Ridge will survive. They leave. Ridge says, "I'll be seeing ya."
Never bring up the brawling brutes ever again.
A decent little interaction. It's establishing Ridge as a babyface, provides him people to beat, right? I assume, as he's trying to like gain momentum in NXT. And I think Ridge has sounded pretty good. He's over delivered. I just assumed he was going to be rough on the mic, but he sounds okay.
He's all right.
Yeah. You saw this. It's Cora Jade versus Gigi Dolan, two of our favorite in ring. This is Danielson Sabre, right? Part 2, basically.
Yeah.
The only thing I think Cora Jade does that looks okay is that like CM Punk step up high knee looks pretty good.
Ironic.
Basement front drop kick to Cora against the bottom rope. Crucifix bomb. Cora escapes by sort of grabbing the ref right at that point, and then Cora's finisher is a weak double underhook DDT.
She does it really bad,
and I don't know if Dolan doesn't take it well either, but it wasn't great.
I don't think she did, but I don't think that's the only issue with
No, 4-minute match. My analysis, 2 average performers having an average match. Pretty much what I expected. I don't see much in either of them, but we'll continue to have Cora Jade ram down our throats 100%. And Dolan was treated like enhancement talent here, which
it's fine.
Fairly.
Also, her entrance and her whole thing does not scream babyface to me.
No, it does not. I do think Jade's heel mannerisms are a little bit better. Like she's doing it a little more subtle, kind of more like, I'm not actively trying to make you hate me. I don't really care if you like me. That I much prefer.
Yeah.
She's just like, whatever. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, that works a little bit.
I prefer that. So out the mud or in the parking lot, they're not super happy about losing their match and tell Scripps they need to run it back against the family. Jada Parker, should I know her?
I saw that she's wrestled before. She might have been in the breakout.
She's like, oh, it's Miss Parker. And I'm like, oh, okay.
She might have been in the breakout, I think.
Sure. You saw this. She says OTM are better than what they showed in that match. So first things first, who's got Riz? Boomer me doesn't know what that means.
Like, you got game?
Okay, fair enough. Thank you. I thought so, but...
It's just like the fact that they use that
You cringed pretty hard.
That makes me sad for them that they're bringing that, like... That's like, remember seeing this video of like the weather people. It was from like years ago, but like they're using all these terms and it's like talking like a kid. It's somehow supposed to make you more appealing. Like,
hey, fellow kids.
Yeah, like
yeah. She says they need to apply pressure and they need her to do that. Scripps says they can talk business and they walk away.
Fight the other one,
right?
Fight Rizzo,
right? So I'm hoping this is like maybe she's more interesting than Scripps.
She's saying who got Riz, like who's gonna take care of her.
I don't know.
Like I hope they're not talking about Riz like that, because otherwise that makes me sad for them.
I don't understand it, but okay. Dusty Rhodes Tag Classic match again. We've got Axiom and Nathan Frazier, kind of like the Power Rangers sort of deal, going up against Hank and Tank. So long story short, like Hank and Tank, they hit pop up a couple tag team, double team moves that look pretty good. I think there's a spot for them too. Kind of, they have this weird little charisma of like, we're the baby faces just happy to get experience and get matches and stuff, and we don't have huge expectations. Anyways, Fraser hits a Phoenix Splash that was really far away. Like, it was probably the furthest I've seen. He only got it. He didn't get all of it, but he got most of it.
The way he flips and twists is really interesting to watch. Because he's so fast and it's like kind of jagged, but it's also kind of.
And his running the ropes, him and Braun, like they're the two. And it's crazy because Braun's like 100 pounds heavier than him, and he's crazy
Fraser's
fast.
dangerously fast.
So Axiom and Fraser are really fun to watch. So this was only 4 minutes, but like there was a really nice contrast of styles here, and I think it went about as well as you could hope this would go. But again, you've got singles wrestlers beating a somewhat established, not really, but a barely established team. But it makes sense because Hank and Tank, their whole thing is like they're rookies.
They're trying to get on the same page too,
together,
right? So,
right?
yeah,
and I think that they did a few things that looked pretty good here. So I did 4 minutes. What can you say? But I thought it was okay. Final installment of Tiffany Stratton on the ranch. She is complaining as she mucks out the stall and says she's just going to erase it all from her memory. So Fallon and a bunch of ranch hands,
not Josh Briggs,
they're the baby faces as they stand and laugh at this girl. They basically don't offer her any help. Nice work, baby faces.
I guess it's not deserved for her to get help.
No, it's not.
I guess there's that, but
this is what she gets for losing the match. So the guy, not Briggs, says that she isn't doing really bad. And Fallon even says here she might be a nice addition. So that's what I'm thinking, like, oh, really? And no, based on what we saw, she wouldn't. Other than, like, I guess she perseveres and she's physically strong enough to do farm work.
I guess. Those are only required requirements.
Fallon asks how it feels to do some real work. And Stratton says that it wasn't work, it was hell and the worst day of her life because she knows what it's like to be Henley. And then she's like, I actually pity you because you enjoy this crap, literally, which I thought was pretty funny.
Around, yeah.
And then we get the big final payoff where she's leaving.
Oh, I thought this looked so dumb.
It was awful. Her inappropriate shoes, steps on a pile of horse crap, and then falls into like a tub of like clean water.
Yeah, I was like, wouldn't that be good? So
that's the final
anything?
embarrassment. Yeah. She's all filthy and dirty from a day of farm work and falls into like, for being in the middle of a stable, it's a remarkably clean tub of water she falls in, right?
And she like overreacts to like big time.
And so that's the final embarrassment. They were nothing more than amusing. They kind of under-delivered, like considering this was supposed to be a huge fish out of water and this was like built to, and you gave it 3 segments. Stratton's fine with her over-the-top reactions and things. And I think if the point was Henley is coming out of this a little impressed with Stratton's perseverance and whatnot, I think Henley did convey that, but I don't know if that's what they were going for. If they did, good for her.
Yeah.
So I think her newfound respect for Stratton is going somewhere. I don't really know, but I feel like they didn't accomplish a ton in these segments to me anyways. We then get Inoue and Blade. Did you see this part? They're excited to start the Dusty Classic next week.
I did not.
Inoue says everyone's talking about Trick and Mello and that's cool, but they're going to beat Trick and Mello next week. Don't think so, but who knows?
I don't think so.
Idris says they'll win next week and turn things around. And Brinley?
Who?
I don't know. I think she might have been in the breakout. I
love the fact that we don't know.
I thought at first it was Thea Hale looking a little bit different. But so she walks in and tries, like, you guys need to stretch and blah, blah, blah. And if you stay active, you'll get 6 packs. And they both like, and that as soon as she said that, I'm like, you just said that to like 2 of the most ripped guys on this roster. Like Idris Inoue, I think, has like a 12 pack.
Especially Inoue. Blades is kind of just like.
So they lift up their shirts and go, we already have them. I don't know who this is. And I kind of like Blade and Inoue. They're stuck as mid-carders.
Either a breakout person or the name kind of sounds like one of the NIL people we listed off.
So is she going for this like motivational personal trainer, Simon Dean?
So I was going to say Simon Dean.
I don't know. We'll see where that goes. Then we get the main event, which is the NXT North American Championship. It's Dragon Lee taking on open challenger Lexis King. No details here. Lee wins with a super kick and the Destino.
Operation Dragon.
I refuse. After about 9 minutes, solid match. Didn't feel like a hot main event by any means. King's a little better than basic. Still not super impressive. Maybe not bothering me as much as he did when he started. And the match was honestly just to set up what follows, which is Oba Femi walks down to the ring, cashes in his breakout contract. Question, why did he bring his own ref? There's a ref in the ring. I was like, what? Interesting.
Just to be safe?
I guess. I don't know. So basically, Dragon Lee gets in one little flurry, super kick, and a tornado DDT, I think. But Femi ends up hitting his like it's almost like a last rites. He lifts them up extra high, power bomb.
Pop up power on kind of, yeah.
Last ride, sorry.
Last rites is the TNA match.
Right. Weird. And so we have a new champion. Obafemi wins in just over a minute.
Guess this is sending Dragon Lee back.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not sure how I feel, but you're getting the title off of a main roster talent that only got it because they had to call an audible because of injury, right?
Wesley.
Right, Wesley being done. Oh, yeah, I forgot about him already. And now you have precedent. I think part of their thing is they want precedent of like, look, people cash in this contract and are successful.
Mello did it, right?
And win titles. Yeah. So it's more of that, right? I don't know if Femi's ready for this. I think in the small doses we're getting him, he's okay. But
now he's a champion.
And this is sort of the workhorse title.
Yeah.
This is the workhorse open challenge kind of title, right? And that's not where I see him right now, but I guess we'll find out because clearly they are high on him. And at least something like noteworthy and unexpected happened at the end of the show. I know you were waiting for me to watch it because I imagine this is what you were waiting for me to see. So I don't know. It was a pretty mediocre show, but that was the biggest thing coming out of it is Obafemi is your North American champion, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so on to some random stuff we watched this week. And this is what this segment, when I had this brainchild, this is what it was about. Like you saying like, I went back and watched this, or I watched 2 matches off Rampage.
I've watched this random things a few times.
So you were finishing some schoolwork and we were just putting on stuff in the background as we do. So we went Cole Gargano 2 out of 3 falls from NXT New York. My God.
Perfect.
And just an amazing, super hot crowd, amazing near falls down the stretch. If you're one of those people who's like, oh, they kick out of a million things, this isn't the match for you.
No, but some of the falls are so good. I think the way he like rolled him in the last shot for the first fall that Cole got was really nice. And then Cole tapping out fast for the second fall made sense. And then there's my favorite near fall was probably the one where Gargano takes out the Undisputed Era on the outside and then he runs in, eats a nasty super kick. Some of the super kicks in this match from Cole are nasty. He takes super kick to the face, super kick back of the head, last shot, and he still kicks out.
Yep.
And the crowd
was
like,
super into it.
Crowd's like quiet at the beginning and it really like builds up, you know?
Great match. So we checked that out.
That's awesome. I also watched the second match of theirs at school.
So that was your choice, and then I went, fine, now it's my turn. And I'm interested in your thoughts on this. We watched Hell of War from Ultima Lucha 3, where Dante Fox, a.k.a. AR Fox, took on Killshot, a.k.a. Swerve, in what was like a half hour of madness, right? So what were some of the high spots?
A speed run, 3 Stages of Hell, basically.
It was like, it's half an hour, and they start out like
what, 450 on a ladder?
It's one of those matches like I would choose this for a non-wrestling fan because there's no like holds and counters. It's just like, let's get crazy right away.
450 on a ladder. There was the ending of the first fall was first blood, so Swerve went through glass
and like bleeding from his back.
Second one was just no DQ, and what was it? Fox went through a barbed wire board. At
Same
the end.
thing. His back.
Like crazy.
You can watch the blood like seeping out of him. It was disgusting.
And like some of the kicks from Swerve were insane.
We got like a avalanche Spanish fly onto a gurney, right? The third phase is you have to
stretcher. Yeah,
it's like an ambulance match basically.
Yeah, and then there's like a Swerve stomp on the stretcher. Then the finish was like Fox fell off a ledge through like a big thing of glass.
And because Dario Cueto, who's like running Lucha Underground, his whole gimmick was he just loves violence. So he like sets up which is kind of cool, right? Because then
they don't have to
like why is this stupid structure here for him to fall through? Because Cueto wants you to. He wants he's depraved.
This is probably like if Swerve hadn't done the match with Hangman.
This is a lot.
This would be the craziest thing. I think that other match arguably tops this.
It does, I think.
But this was still like...
Considering this is 10 years ago.
An overload on your senses.
And remember, I didn't know who either of these guys were at this time.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh my... It's a crazy match. People should check it out. It's about half an hour, and it is fantastic.
It is.
We also went back to Wrestle Kingdom and checked out Danielson Okada because we heard... I
have watched that.
So... I mean, we're going to maybe unpopular... Excellent match. I don't want to say
I think it's really good, but I don't think they live up to the hype.
I love Danielson in this. I didn't think Okada was anything.
I don't...
Like, I love, because you know me...
Okada's really strong, but I honestly don't think there's ever been a match where I've been, like, overly high on Okada.
And Danielson limb targeting is, like, my favorite, so there was a lot of that.
And that's bearing in mind that I never really watched the Okada Omega matches. I remember seeing them because I think you watched them, and that's when I was like in my wrestling infancy, which I think we're approaching 8 years.
Mhm.
So that's
So
interesting.
I don't love every
like, yeah.
Okada match, but I do like some.
Yeah, no, this is good. I like that like he was targeting the arm, so that like it came into play with the Rainmaker at
Right.
least, and then obviously Okada got his win back, which makes sense.
Which we expected.
Yeah.
So don't get me wrong, excellent match, but people were talking about it like it's an early match of the year contender. That would be a light year if that won match of the year, in my opinion.
Yeah, agreed.
Right? So,
and I think I just pure enjoyment, maybe not match quality, but I enjoyed Takeshita Darby more for sure. And yeah, it's
me
like,
too.
and especially thing on this show where we literally, this is the only match we watched on the show.
Yes.
It also doesn't have the cover of like it got outshone by Omega Ospreay.
Right.
That's not here this time.
Nope. We just
So I
that's
think
all
it's
we
just
watched.
Like, so like yeah, they have really good matches together. But honestly, I think people are expecting like honestly something on the caliber of Omega Ospreay.
It
I
was
just
not.
don't think we've gotten that either
Nope.
time. And maybe it's just like the chemistry's not there to that degree.
Saber Danielson was way closer to that.
Way better.
than this.
Absolutely. I think just like the chemistry, they obviously have some because they're two of the best in the
like
world.
this is like 4.5
but
stars or whatever, something like that.
I just don't think they meet expectations, which might partially just be on the ridiculously high expectations.
Sure.
But for whatever reason, it's not quite there. But it's still really good. I don't want to make it sound like it's
no,
bad.
and that's why I hate like saying like, but it was excellent, but it wasn't.
It's hard to respectfully crap.
It's not a
on
Modi
things.
candidate for me.
Yeah, no,
I wouldn't even put it on my list.
It's not like stand out enough to be on my list because like the Darby Takeshi thing and like stands out as a TV
Correct.
match. You know what I mean? And,
And
like,
we were like multiple times visceral reactions and like out loud.
This
in that.
yeah. So it's lacking a little something to me for sure.
Then I sought out Queen Aminata, so shout out to her because I really wanted to check her out again. So she took on Sheeta on Rampage.
Yeah, we watched that.
And I thought Aminata looked good again. She's like snap suplex on the floor. She did like
kicking each other.
Her kicks look good. The hip attack and then a running boot in the corner looked good. She's just aggressive.
Crisp.
And I love being impressed by someone I've never heard of before, right?
Walter.
She seems to have like a physical style and looks pretty polished, to be honest. So I'm becoming a pretty good fan. And I like Sheeta too, but
now here's the thing.
Yeah.
You gotta flesh out her character.
Agree. Right. And you have some place to go. She's Queen Aminata. So where do we want to go with that?
We just need to know what that means and what that entails. And if she looks to have signed, then you could probably do that.
And I like Sheeta, but I was there to watch Aminata for sure.
Yeah.
Then because it was there on our way to looking for the match we were really looking for, because I thought Zach Knight looked good in the first match I watched. I told you, the brother of Saraya. So we watched John Cruz, which is
Unmasked Serpentico,
right?
Who I think was also wrestling on the show, so he might have pulled double duty.
I think he did. I think Knight looked good here again, right? Like he's kind of seems like he can wrestle
some
any
of his
style.
offense was fine, and some of it just was nice and crisp. Though.
And he's like he can submission. He's a pretty. They put him over as like he's freaking Lance Archer, which I don't understand. He's a bigger guy,
a little
but he's
too
not
competitive
huge.
with Mr. Serpentico there.
But I think Knight's better than Saraya. You'd probably agree after one match.
Yeah,
I think he's cool, kind of. And I don't really want to like him necessarily, but the thing on ROH we went for was to see Kyle Fletcher defending against Angelico. It's not hard to say Angelico.
They said Angelico like every time.
It's like nails on a chalkboard.
I was reacting as much as like I would at it with the Darby Allin match. Like instead of reacting to moves though, I'm just like every time I'm like Angelico, I'm just like, come on.
I know.
Like it really bothered me. Honestly, it like not ruined, but like it quote unquote ruined the match for me just because it's like
the people listening to this whenever I say Sabre for which if you're not an Office fan, it's because it's a reference to that.
Yeah,
but they're like it's Sabre, say it right.
Yeah, it was bothersome. But other than that, I really liked it though because I love Fletcher and I love Angelico.
They need to unleash Angelico. I was telling you, like his style is so unique and the submissions and stuff he can do.
Yeah, I would put him with Don Callis. I'd put him in there.
I don't know. He's kind of.
I don't care.
His entrance and stuff don't fit with it. Because he's kind of silly. I feel like his gimmick is kind of like...
I don't know what else you could do with him.
His gimmick is kind of like he's the ultra-talented dude that just doesn't take it super seriously or something. I don't know, but he's cool.
I don't know. There needs to be a way for them to push him because I would love to give him a title.
And Kyle Fletcher is packing on the muscle. My goodness. I thought the match was fun.
Which is good, though, because he used to be like really lanky. So now he's like kind of filling out, as they say.
So I thought the match was fun. Like we went and checked it out.
So I really like both their moveset, so to speak. So
yeah. And then the only other thing we saw that we were both entertained was Dalton Castle keeps cheese in his gear, right? So he's doing this thing where he hasn't slept since the pay-per-view.
When he got cost the match that Fletcher won.
Right. And so he was talking to, was that Lexi Nair?
Yeah, Mrs. Big Bill.
And he's just really entertaining, right? And I was telling you, like, I get mad because a lot of characters in NXT especially don't behave like human beings do. And you could say, well, now you like Dalton Castle. But like, he's a comedy character, and he's built this, and he's this super weird, quirky dude, and this is what he's
like
been.
Kind of flamboyant,
right?
Whatever,
It's not like he's just behaving like a normal person. I'm like, this is how 12-year-olds act. He's a weird character. So I enjoy him really a lot, and he's good in the ring. So
yeah,
I would like him.
Though. He kept pulling out like the slices of fake cheese out of his jumpsuit,
And then,
like Big E with the pancakes.
Yeah, and he gives the last one to Lexi Nair, and the last thing she says is, "It's warm," which I thought was kind of funny. So
yeah, nice comedic timing on her.
He's just really entertaining guy.
Yeah, I like seeing him in little doses.
Me too. I enjoy him.
I would like to see some more of him. I wouldn't mind for sure.
Now, when ROH made him their champion, I was a little bit like, maybe that's a bit too far, but I get it. You're a small company, and
I honestly think now they could, though, now that he's like kind of better. Yeah. And also because ROH isn't that big, so I feel like he would fit in the top right now. Obviously, now it's in the Continental Crown, so.
But they focus so little on any character stuff, and that's he's part of his package, right? He's cool.
But they're still doing that here, so that's
true.
That's what helps
Words
them
are hard.
Stand out. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess that kind of wraps things up, right? That's all I watched this week. I did watch a bit of SmackDown just to check it out, but nothing.
I didn't like anything really other than just like in that Bloodline segment, Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman's a gem.
Yeah,
so we always love Paulie, so shout out to him.
We do.
Sure.
But I think that's going to wrap up 182. And so I'm going to try and check out some TNA this weekend. So I'll have that to talk about probably.
I hope their stage is something.
And we'll be back for sure next Saturday for episode 183. Thanks for joining us, taking some time out of your week to listen to us ramble about wrestling. We really do appreciate it. We'll see you back here for episode 183. And until then, everybody, take care.